You guys could definitely use exclamation podcast to know what this is about. And if you guys are curious to know who the guest is for this evening, exclamation guest. Please drop him a follow. Cool, cool. All right, so let's start off with you introducing yourself. Let's talk about simple things like your interests and hobbies. You don't have to get into like the details of it, just like an overview.
Uh, okay. Man, I always stress out when people ask me to like introduce myself because I'm like, oh God, like what do I even say? But
Yeah, it's
okay.
cool, it's cool.
Anyway, um, yeah, my name's Andy or Andrew or ItsAndross on Twitch. Um, I've been streaming for maybe about 3 months now. Uh, you know, if I'm not streaming, I'm either playing video games, binging stuff on Netflix, the usual thing that you get from like kids that just have nothing to do when they're not at work or school or whatever. Just kind of kill their free time with whatever. Um, but yeah, I like video games for them. Like, that's like my main interest, I guess, because that's kind of how it's been my whole life. Um, I've been playing video games since I was like since before I can even remember because my dad was really big on video games and my brother. So they kind of got me into that world. Yeah, so I like video games. I like Netflix shows. I like a good comedy movie. Yeah, that's pretty basic stuff about me that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, for sure. And throughout this whole entire interview, if there's anything you want to go back on, feel free to do so. So let's. How would you describe your personality?
Uh, Good question. It depends. It depends how I'm feeling that day.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'd say I don't know if this describes my personality. It more kind of just describes who I am, which I guess is my personality. But I'm like that one friend in the group that's always like trying to make jokes. Uh, but yeah, I'm like the funny one, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not actually funny. So that there's your little conundrum. Uh, yeah, I try to make people laugh as much as I can because I feel like it's a good way to help lighten the mood because life is too serious all the time, man. Like there are too many things happening and I feel like if I can just make people laugh, then it's like I did my part. I did something good. I also am a very like like an emotional person. So I like I like listening to people like their problems and trying to help them out on that stuff. Uh, while at the same time never revealing my own emotions because I don't want to bother people with that. So you know that type of person. That's me. The one that listens to everyone but never says anything about himself, which
Mm-hmm.
is ironic because I'm on a podcast about myself. But
Yes.
uh, yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Just that funny guy that you know makes the makes the ha-has all the time.
Mm-hmm. For sure, man. All right, now let's get into the specifics of your childhood, how you would describe it. We could go in chronological order, and you could be as detailed as you'd like. You could tell us stories just for us to get to know you more, on a personal level.
Where to begin, man? That's
When you were
all
born, I
right.
guess.
When I was born.
And
All
where?
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, if I'm being honest, I don't remember a lot from when I was born. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know I was there and everything, but it was kind of fuzzy. But yeah, I'm told that I was born on July 15th. That's what they tell me. Um, first few years of my life, kind of a blank slate. Nothing really going on there. But the first thing I can really remember is just you know most of my really young childhood was just spent at home, uh, kind of hanging out with my mom because for the first early years of my life, my dad was the one who worked, so he was always like at his job My mom was at home kind of trying to take care of all of the kids because I have two siblings, two older siblings. My sister is, well, I won't say how old she is because I don't know if she'll get mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell people her age. So she's
Yeah,
all you
it's
have to
fine.
know is that she's older than me. um, and then my brother is also older than me. He's the middle. So it's my sister, my brother, and then me.
Yeah,
And there's like a few years of a difference there. So
got it.
I actually never went. I was never like really in school with my siblings. They kind of went ahead of for the most part. My sister and my brother are closer in years to each other than I am to my brother, if that makes sense. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, most of my early childhood was just me hanging out with my mom. I actually got along with my family pretty well for the most part that I can remember. My brother is a pretty quiet guy, so he just kind of he just kind of did his own thing, and didn't really want to bother anybody. But him and I did really bond over watching wrestling. So all my whole childhood, I've loved WWE and wrestling and all that stuff. Um, my favorite wrestler was a guy named Jeff Hardy, who was just a guy who like jumped off of tall things and then landed on somebody. Like I don't know why, but he was just my favorite. I loved that guy, and I still love that guy because he still wrestles. Freaking like 20 years later, he's still wrestling. I'm like, he's still jumping off of stuff. I'm like, dude, he's gonna die. But yeah, I love wrestling. That's how my brother and I got along with for the most part. That and video games because he's the one who got me into video games, um, and also wrestling video games if you want to combine the two. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my sister and I, we didn't talk a lot, or we weren't like super close when I was really young. We got closer probably when I was in like high school or so. So that's a little bit later. Um, you know, my family was pretty like simple, honestly. Like obviously there were like problems here and there, but for the most part, I think we lived pretty like normally. I know there's a lot of people who have these feelings of like resentment or whatever towards their parents because of their childhood, but I never really had those feelings because my parents are pretty cool. Thankfully, it's very fortunate that that's how it went down because it's not always
So,
the case.
where are you from, or where were you
Uh,
born?
I was born in a city called Anaheim, which is in Southern California. It's like
Got
maybe
it.
maybe like 20 minutes away from LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I still live in SoCal. I have lived here my entire life, and I don't know when I plan on moving.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll just stay here for the rest of my life. Maybe I'll have a family and just stay here. Who knows? But yeah.
Is your age a secret?
No, I'm 22.
Okay, just making sure.
No, I just protect the age of those that are not me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know who wants
Yeah,
me to
that's fair.
reveal their
That's fair.
age. Yeah. But yeah, I'm 22.
And you're mixed, right?
I am mixed. My dad is Colombian and my mom is Filipino. So that means that I only speak English, unfortunately, because they only spoke English to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people hear I'm like I'm biracial, they always say like, "Oh my gosh, does that mean you speak three languages? Does that mean you speak like English uh and Spanish and Tagalog?" I'm like, "No, I only speak English, man." Like, I know I'm bummed about it too.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know how to speak those other two languages. I kind of know Spanish because I took it in high school, but I don't know anything about Tagalog. I know a few words here and there that my mom taught me as a kid. Like I know how to say ugly, and I know how to say like like stinky
Uh-huh.
for some reason. I just know weird words, and I don't know why those are the words that my mom decided to teach me. But those are the words. Also, hi Lexi. I see her in your
Lexi,
chat. Yeah, Lexi's my homie.
she said she would stop by.
Yeah,
Perfect.
she's a real one.
Great. That was a good summary of your childhood. let's get more in depth. Like, let's talk about your lifestyle when you're a kid. Let's incorporate school too.
My lifestyle was, looking back on it, I think I was a pretty stupid kid. Not in terms of being dumb, but in
Mhm.
terms of like how I acted.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, I was like the funny kid. I've kind of been like that my whole life, where I try to make people laugh, but sometimes I definitely did it at the wrong times. Like
Yes.
someone would be really sad, and I'd be like, "Want to hear a joke?" And they're like, "No." Uh, but yeah, I was pretty, I guess, rambunctious is a good word. I wasn't like crazy energetic or anything, but I was just very reckless. And I was also very emotional. I cried at like everything. Like if someone even said anything slightly mean to me, I would cry, which
Mm-hmm.
is annoying for my teachers to deal with. And I didn't know that my teachers were annoyed with it until my mom told me after I had already finished like elementary school, and then it kind of bummed me out that I knew that from that point on. But I'm glad I know that, because now I think I'm better at not crying at things that don't deserve to be cried about. Like we were playing. There was one day where we were playing Crossfire. I don't know if you know Crossfire. I don't know who knows Crossfire,
A
but
video game or the
no,
game?
it's like a game you play at school. Yeah, it's
Oh,
a game you play at
I
school.
don't think
It's
so.
kind of like dodgeball. So basically, it's like, imagine a dodgeball court, like drawn in the asphalt with like like, you know how there were like, they would like paint on the asphalt to make courts
Yes.
sometimes for certain games. So there was like a dodgeball court. It was like a rectangle in the asphalt with like a half line and a circle in the middle and all that. So Crossfire was basically, you play dodgeball like normal, kind of like normal. Uh, the main difference is that if you're out, you end up being like the goalie, which is basically someone who stands outside the box, and you like, if someone throws the ball and it goes out, you grab it, and it was up to you to decide the rules. There were two options. It was either one, you just have to toss the ball back in,
Mm-hmm.
or two, you would stand on the goal line of your opponent's team, so you could try to like hit them from outside the box. So they basically had to watch like both sides, because if the ball was like here, also there were multiple balls, but that's like in dodgeball anyway. I think that's how it goes. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so there was this one time. It's just, all you need to know is that it's dodgeball, but if you're
Mm-hmm.
out, you're a goalie. That's it. I over
It's
explained it,
okay.
but
No worries.
yeah. There was one day where we were playing Crossfire, and someone got me out, and I was a very sore loser. I didn't get mad, I just cried like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I actually got like mad, because the ball didn't hit me, but the guy who threw it like swore that it hit me, and I was like, no, it didn't hit me, and he kept saying, yeah, it hit you, and I was like, whatever. So I ended up being the goalie, and I was like, I'm gonna get this guy out. This guy is like public enemy number one to me. So the ball comes my way, and I'm like, ooh, here we go. This is my chance. So I throw the ball literally as hard as I can, which, mind you, is not very hard because I was not a very athletic kid, despite the fact that I did play youth sports.
This is in elementary.
This is in elementary. I was like 8. I don't know.
Okay.
It was 5th grade. How old are you in 5th grade?
Like 10, 11.
I don't know. Yeah, like, okay,
Yeah.
I was 10 or 11. Uh, so I throw the ball as hard as I can. It hits him in the legs. He starts crying, and I'm like, ah. So then we were walking off the court. I see him talking to the teacher.
Yeah.
The teacher comes up to me, and she's like, "Go to the principal's office." This is the only time I've ever been sent to the principal's office, uh, ever. So I go to the principal's office. He says, "So I heard you got in trouble in PE and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I hit him with a ball." And they were like, "Why?" And I said, "Cause that's the game." And he was like, "All right, well, you don't do it again, okay?" And I was like, "All right, bye." Then I got to my classroom. I was actually fine up to this point. Then I got to my classroom. My teacher looks at me, and I actually actually really liked my teacher this
Mm-hmm.
year. She was really cool. Uh, and I see her, and immediately I start like crying, and I'm like, yeah. And then the teacher comes up to me and she like hugs me, and I'm crying even more. And this is all happening in front of the class, by the way. So there's just like a crowd of kids just probably wondering like,
What
what the hell
happened? Yeah.
is this? Why is this guy crying? Like they knew who I was, but they were like, what? So that should give you somewhat of an idea of what kind of kid I was. I was like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. That's just a neat little story. One that I don't like remembering, but it's fun to tell.
How did that, or how did you progress over time throughout school?
Like in my academics or like in me.
Well, both.
Academics, I got worse, and like, as years kept going,
Mm-hmm.
I started trying less. But I think that's a pretty common thing. Like everyone was a straight A student at one point. Let's be honest. Like I feel like 80% of kids, maybe 70% of kids, like did well enough in like elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And then middle school maybe starts to drop a little bit. And then high school, everyone just like stops caring unless you're like an actual good student that tried, but you know that wasn't me. It's because in elementary school and middle school, you can kind of get away with not really studying outside of class. But then when high school comes, it's like, oh God, I actually have to do stuff. And then college comes and it's like, oh my God, I have to do everything now. Anyway,
Yeah.
just a little tangent about school that
Mm-hmm.
I have strong opinions about school. So um, yeah, I got worse in academics a little, but it didn't really get bad until high school. As a person, though, I think I got. I don't know if I can say I got better or if I just became different. Like it's hard to say because everyone you can always look back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I said that. But then you look back even more, like to younger years, and you're like, no, that was worse. In retrospect, the high school stuff doesn't look as bad as the middle school stuff, as much as it looks bad as the elementary stuff. So I would say I got a little better, but there were definitely still moments. I wasn't as emotional. I didn't cry in high school, thankfully. At least not in front of people, except for one event, but that one was called for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think I lost my train of thought. But
It's okay. It's about you, like
yeah,
academics and basically your
uh,
personality, how
yeah.
it changed over time.
I mean, I kind of kept that whole funny kid attitude throughout all my school years. I'd
Mm-hmm.
say I feel like I kind of keep that now. I think in my friend group, I'm probably still the guy that cracks the most jokes, even if they're not good jokes. Um,
Yeah.
and that really started being amplified more in high school. I would say. I think the main thing that changed was my sense of humor. Like in elementary school, I made pretty basic jokes, and in middle school, like I was into that whole like rage comics, like dirt kind of thing, like random is funny thing, where you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of say random stuff and you think that's funny. And then in high school, I started to like kind of get closer to what I am now. But yeah,
Yeah.
the main thing that changed for me throughout the years was my sense of humor, and uh, I was better at picking friends. I would say
Mm-hmm.
because elementary school, I had a bad friend group. Uh, they were a lot more popular than me, uh, like as years went on. But at the time, we were all homies, and I was like, the funny friend. But I found out later that they were like picking on me behind my back. So, you know,
Oh
obviously,
man.
yeah, I didn't find that out until like high school though. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but we drifted apart in middle school because they went and did their own thing naturally without me even finding out the bad stuff. So, and then in middle school, that's also when I started to like kind of become more of a band kid, I guess you could say. Because elementary school, oh, I didn't mention. in elementary school, fourth grade, I joined like the school band.
Wow. Okay.
But I
Okay.
wasn't. But in elementary school, band doesn't mean a whole lot.
Mhm.
I think middle school was when I started taking it a little more seriously because that's when you start having like, you know, they start saying like, "Oh, you're first chair, second chair. This is how," because that's how good you are at your instrument. And like, there's honor band, which is you have to audition for that, and then there's also jazz band and all that stuff. But in elementary school, it's just band. Uh, so in middle school, I started taking it a little more seriously. I started my transition to becoming a band kid, and then in high school, I
What
was in my
instruments?
march. I played alto saxophone. Uh, that's it. I ended up playing cymbals later, like my senior year of high school,
Mhm.
but only for a few months, and then I ended up quitting. Yeah. So and then in high school, I was in marching band all 4 years.
Yeah.
So I was full on like, yeah, I love band. Yeah. And that's actually how I met a lot of my current friend group, or like my current friend group, I should say.
Yeah.
That's how I met most of them because in during lunch, we didn't actually have like a cafeteria where you could eat, so to speak. It was more like tables just kind of spread out throughout the whole school. At least not
Mhm.
that I can remember that there was a cafeteria. I don't think there was, but so I ended up eating. Oh, this is gonna sound sad, but I promise it wasn't sad. I ended up eating lunch in the band room, and that's actually where a lot of the band people would eat lunch because it's just a nice place to hang out. It's air conditioned. Um, it was just chill. You get your own chair instead of a bench. Like you get a chair with back support. It was nice. So that's how I met a lot of friends. People that I had known for a while, actually, since like middle school. I'd known some of them, but I didn't like them in middle school. And then in high school, I ended up becoming really good friends with them. Um, so yeah, that's I think that's like the main thing that changed is like my sense of humor and my friend group, and those are like the two biggies that changed throughout the years.
Yeah. So band is something you wanted to get into on your own, right?
Yeah. The reason I got into band, this is gonna sound weird, but there's an episode of Drake and Josh where
Mhm.
where where Drake. Okay, so Drake and Josh get mad at each other. Or Josh finds like a new. I don't know how it happens, man. Point is, there's Drake and Josh find new friends called Drew and Jerry, where they're just like almost exact versions of Drake and Josh, but with they're like slightly different. Like how in that show, um, what's it called? Drake plays the guitar. So
Yeah.
Drew, who is Drake's counterpart, I guess, or Drake's like you know
Mhm.
twin, he plays the saxophone. And there was like this cool little lick that he plays in the episode, and I can still kind of remember it in my head, even though I haven't watched that episode probably since that day where I was in fourth grade. But I can remember that lick because the day before was when the band teacher came into our room and was like, "Here, join the band. Here's a flyer. Here are the instruments you can play." And one of them was saxophone. And then I saw that episode and I heard the saxophone and I was like, "That's a pretty cool sound. I want to learn how to do that." So
Yeah.
I learned how to do that. I sucked at the start, but now I feel like I'm pretty okay. I think I still have my saxophone somewhere in my room, but I haven't played it in a while. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, that I played alto sax, and that's why I played. That's why I joined band, all because of Drake and Josh,
Yeah.
and it completely changed my life.
That's huge. But you said you're done now, right?
Oh yeah, I'm done,
Yeah,
dude.
with
I'm not. I'm not
instruments.
doing band anymore.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, another one big reason for that is actually because there's not really much for me to do anymore
Mhm.
now that I'm not in high school band.
Yeah.
Because marching bands typically okay, so there's actually marching bands you can join that aren't school bands. There's like a whole league of like marching bands that are just not associated with any school. There's like t- groups called like the Blue Devils, the Cavaliers, the Cadets, whatever, a bunch of groups, and they all like compete with each other the same way high schools do. The main difference though is that those marching bands don't allow woodwind instruments. They only allow brass.
Okay.
So the woodwind, yeah, the woodwinds are like, for those that don't know, the woodwinds are basically like saxophones, clarinets, flutes, you know, anything that's not like a trumpet or a trombone or just a straight up metal, like golden metal instrument. Those are mostly woodwinds. Um, so yeah, those weren't allowed in the main, the big, they're called drum corps. They're not allowed in that group. So once I graduated from high school, there was pretty much nothing I was allowed to do because I didn't want to learn how to play a brass instrument that late in my life because I was like, I learned how to play saxophone really young, which made it a lot better for me because I think when you learn things younger, you thank yourself later. And it's harder to learn things now because you're already so set in your ways and your life and stuff. So yeah, that's also why I've been struggling to learn like other instruments in general, like the piano and the guitar, even though I've always wanted to learn. But I'm just so stuck in the mindset of, well, I'm so behind. There's so much to learn, and when am I gonna have the time to do it? You know, so that's kind of why I'm stuck just playing the saxophone. So now that I'm out of high school, I think the band part of me is just dead.
For sure. Nice. Great explanation, man. Oh, by the way, Stacy Hoodie Ninja just said something relative. If you see it in the comments.
Hoodie,
It says,
the my best friend just became a professor at Indiana University teaching saxophone. He got his doctorate degree in teaching saxophone. I didn't even know you could get a doctorate degree in teaching saxophone. I don't know anything about the saxophone other than how to play it. Honestly, I don't know what career options there are, but that's cool that they got a doctorate in teaching saxophone. That's pretty interesting, actually. Do
for
they
sure.
teach saxophone? Oh yeah, they professor at Indiana University. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize there were classes at universities on how to play the saxophone,
Wait,
like piano,
I'm
guitar.
gonna
I
turn on my
understand.
light real quick.
Okay.
Alright.
Ugh.
So. You good? Yeah,
Yeah, I
so.
just yeah, I fell asleep waiting for you.
Oh, okay, okay. Competition. Was your school competitive in band? And,
Yes.
like, so it was known for band. Your school?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Okay.
Well, we knew ourselves for band, if that makes sense.
Okay, so
My
explain.
school.
Yeah, go ahead. The process,
Sorry, I
the
totally
thoughts.
cut you off there.
No, you're good. You're good. I
Um,
just want you to talk about it. The competition.
yeah. My school sucked at every other sport pretty much. Um, because most of the people who went to that school looked like me. It's, you know, like that. So we sucked. We were bad at football. We were bad. We were really bad at football. That was our main thing. People made fun of us for that. We were really bad at football. We won in the 4 years I was there. I went to every home football game because I had to because I was in marching band. Every the 4 years I was there, we won maybe a total of 2 games, and we would play
Oh, Jesus.
like 10 games a year. And those 2 games didn't come until like my senior year. So that was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
My sister and my brother went to the same school. They said they never saw our team won. And they went
Jeez.
there years before I went there. So that's football. Our basketball team, I think they were okay. They weren't great, but they were all right. They got by. You know, they would win games, but they wouldn't like
Mm-hmm.
win the championship or anything. Tennis was good. Badminton, volleyball, water polo, you know, those kind of sports. They were good in that, but our band definitely won. Okay, so we would win the 4 years I was there. Uh, so in marching band, in our league, there's like different classes. There's class 1A and 2A and 3A, and all that means is like how big your band was, like how many people were in it. So 1A is the smallest, and then 5A is the biggest. We
Mm-hmm.
were 2A for the most part, which was about like 80 people, I think, in
Hmm.
our band. Um,
Jeez, that's a lot.
yeah, well, dude, that's nothing.
Of course
5A
that
is
is.
like 200, like 200, 250 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from one high school. That's how many people would be in their bands. So we were in class 2A for the most part. The 4 years I was there, we won the class championship every year, which,
Wow.
yeah. And then there was also grand combined, which is where they do 1A, 2A, and 3A, and then 4A and 5A in like two different groups. So this group is 1A, 1, 2, 3. This group is 4 and 5. And for the championships, we would always drive to Fresno in a bus or a charter bus, um, and we would stay there for about 3 days. The first day was for practicing, uh, which was always difficult because we would always practice after like a 4 hour bus trip, um, or 6 hour bus trip. The second day was for the class championships, and the third day was for grand combined. Uh, every year I was there, we won class championships, and we won grand combined, I think, once. Uh, yeah, so yeah, we pulled in a lot of awards, and then there were
Really
also
cool.
competitions before. Yeah, there were also competitions before that, like before the championships, um, which honestly didn't technically matter. It was just nice to go to them and like kind of get scored, and because they would also there would be like judges, right? Like in the like the skybox, and there were also judges on the field, like where we were marching. There were just people walking in between us with like little tape recorders so they could comment on our performances, and we would always make it a mission, if you could, to definitely just run into one of them, because if you run into one of them, they get in trouble, not you, because they're not supposed to be in your way.
I see.
But they definitely were a lot of the time, and then they would just like scoot out at the last moment. So if someone was in our way, we were like we would make a beeline for it. Um, so yeah, we won a lot of competitions actually. There were a few competitions that we didn't win towards the end because we actually went from 2A and then we tried to go to 3A, which is a little bit bigger, but it's also a lot harder
Yeah.
because the schools in 3A are usually bigger groups because they're a better program. Like the schools are usually good. Uh, so yeah, once we moved to 3A, we kind of stopped winning the individual competitions, but we still won the class championships, which was cool. So our school was pretty popular or not popular, in the band world. Our school was pretty well known. In our school, our band was very like, you guys are losers.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, you have a question.
Oh yeah. What is your favorite song to play on saxophone and the most difficult? I have no idea how to play saxophone, but it's my favorite horn. My favorite song to play? That's a good question. Well, you have to remember that I've forgotten a lot of my songs. If you asked me to play a couple, I might be able to. Maybe some marching stuff is still like in my head. I know how it sounds, but it might take me a second to remember how to play it. So I think my
Mm-hmm.
favorite song to play on saxophone is pretty much any pop song, really. I just liked learning how to play the pop songs because our band instructor did not like pop music at all. He very much hated it. So our pep music kind of sucked. Like the songs we'd play in the football marching bands or the football games, it was not very popular music,
Yeah.
which sucked because the point of being a pep band is to get everybody excited with popular music. So if you don't like popular music, no one's gonna like the songs. We were playing like we played
Oh gosh.
Timber by Kesha like 2 years after it came out. Like what? Just get a newer song. You know what I mean? And we played, um, what was that one song? What's that one song by Beyonce? That's like, um, is it 7-Eleven? Is that a song by Beyonce?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. And anyway, we played a Beyonce song years after it came out. Seven Nation Army we played. Another problem with it was that every time we were given a piece of music for pep band, like the football games, the composition of the music was always more. It was like really accurate to the song, which isn't a terrible thing, but it didn't emphasize the catchy parts of the song, which is the point, right? Like when we would play Seven Nation Army, you know that song? It's the one. It's the one that's like the the bum, 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 bum,
Yes.
bum. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So we played that, but we played it almost exactly how the actual song is played,
Okay.
which is dumb because you should just play the part that people know, which is that part. The like just play that. So my favorite song was definitely anytime I learned how to play a pop song. I learned how to play a song by Pink Sweats like last year, so that was pretty fun. I also really, oh god, there is a song. It's a pretty it's pretty well known for being like the saxophone song. Uh, it's that one song by George Michael. You know, Careless Whisper. Do you know that one?
I might have to hear it.
It's the
Yeah, yeah, yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's that
yes.
one.
You're
I
great.
liked I liked playing that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I liked playing that song until I got to high school and realized that it's really annoying when everybody plays that song.
Hmm.
But now I still like playing it. I don't care what they say now because I'm free of judgment. And also that song's really old and it's not as common anymore, so I'm allowed to play it as much as I want. Can I swear on this show?
Yeah, of course.
Fuck yeah! All right, so
Alright. Wait, do you still have
um,
your sax?
somewhere it might be under my bed.
You
I
wanna?
think. No, no, I don't actually. I
Okay,
mean, it was
okay.
okay. It wouldn't even sound good, first of all, because it's literally the saxophone I've had since middle school, and I have not been like properly maintaining it over the years.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of been collecting dust in my in the case. So it's gonna
Gotcha,
suck.
gotcha.
Which
No
saxophone did I
worries.
play? It was a I think it's called a Jean Baptiste or something. I don't know. It's something like that. It's like a silver saxophone with like little like vines carved into it and like flowers on the side carved into it on the side. It was pretty cool actually. And it was also really it made it really easy to determine which saxophone was mine because it was the only silver one. Everyone else had a gold one. So
For sure.
mine was silver. So that was cool.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the question? Oh,
No, no, no.
yeah,
It
favorite
wasn't even a
song.
question yet afterwards, but oh,
Oh
you need
yeah. Well,
Stacy's?
to answer, yeah, to answer the favorite song right now is probably "Careless Whisper," just because it's one that I will literally never forget how to play. And the most difficult song I can play on saxophone would be anything from my marching band. There were definitely songs that were nearly impossible, or not songs, just like pieces, like little sections of the song that were almost impossible to play. Like it I okay, an example which won't make sense because I'm just going to sing it, but an example was that there was one part of a certain marching band song where we would just have to there was like the you just had to play the same thing over and over, but it was such a hard thing to play because your fingers are moving so fast, right?
Yeah.
Especially on a thing like a saxophone which has 6 keys, and the how you press the buttons is actually like pretty interesting. Uh, so there was a part that where you just have to keep playing like and you have to keep doing that while you're like marching on the field really fast and trying to catch your breath.
Hmm.
And this was at the end of the show. So there's 3 movements to pretty much every marching band show. There's the first movement, which is like, you know, kind of gets you hype. And then the second movement is usually a little more slow and,
Hmm.
dramatic. And then the third one is like the finishing touch. So this was at the very end of the third movement. I'm already dying every time we get to this part. And I'm just like, how am I going to play this part? But honestly, it was just a matter of like, if I don't play this, then the person next to me is probably not going to play it, and the person next to them is not going to play it, and then we're going to get docked points because 2 people were playing the part. So I was like, I'll just power through it. That was probably the most difficult one that I can think of off the top of my head.
For
Yeah,
sure.
sorry, this is not a very specific answer because I didn't give you a name or anything, but yeah, sorry.
That was still a very good and in-depth answer, man. No worries. Um, this is random, but do you like singing?
Yeah, I do. Um,
Okay.
my family was pretty musical. My mom and my sister was like the singer of the house. She was very good. We have a CD of like a Christmas album that high school put out,
Hmm.
or like some kids from her high school put out, and she sang a Mariah Carey song, and she kills it, bro.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she also used to love singing Christina Aguilera.
Hmm.
Uh, Very powerful singers. Two very different styles too. Like Mariah Carey is a lot more like very beautiful and very, you know, she hits like those almost whistle notes. Um, Christina Aguilera has the more powerful like throaty voice. They're like, "Arr!" You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like that kind of voice.
Hmm.
She did both, and I was like, damn. So yeah, also being Filipino, you kind of have to learn how to sing.
Ah.
It's just a common thing. Every Filipino household has a karaoke machine, and
Hmm.
that's a very common thing at Filipino gatherings to just sing karaoke. So I did a lot of karaoke even at my own house when I was just chilling.
Yeah.
Uh, I liked singing. I did my school talent show one year, and I sang a Justin Bieber song. I sang
Ooh.
"You Smile." Uh, I think part of me thinks I was a better singer when I was a kid, but maybe that's just because I could hit higher notes.
Hmm.
Pre-puberty and whatnot. Uh, I also did my school play. I did it. I was in the play for 2 years, uh, fifth grade and sixth grade. Sixth grade was the last year of elementary school in my district, so it went kindergarten to sixth, and then middle school was 7, 8, and
Hmm.
then high school was 9, 12. I know other districts or other schools do it differently
Yeah.
sometimes. So I just wanted to clarify that. Fifth and sixth grade, I did my elementary school play. Fifth grade was the Jungle Book. I had a very small part. I was an elephant. I was elephant number 2, and I had one line. Um, and the line was, "I'm hearing for a transfer to another herd," because I'm very fed up with my. The point of that line was because the elephants were like the soldiers in that movie, I guess. So
Mhm.
our commander was being kind of lame. So my character was like, "I want to go to a different group, whatever." So that's the point of my line. But I said my line wrong. I didn't say the wrong words, but I used the wrong tone. I said it really loud, but looking back on it, I'm supposed to be like whispering to the person next to me so that the boss can't hear me. But I like basically screamed it in his face when we were performing it, which is not what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the next year, which was my sixth grade year, I was in this musical called Joust, uh, which, if you don't know what that is, you're not alone. It was the worst play of all time. But it was basically the story of King Arthur. Uh, but instead of swords, they the ladies of the play get upset with the men because they're like, "We want you to stop using swords because that's mean and they kill people." So the women of the play make the decision that they should use uh, plastic little tubey thingies. You know those plastic tube things that make different notes depending on the size of the tube? Do you know what I'm talking about? They're called boom whackers, I think. They're very colorful. They're like plastic tubes, and you just
Hmm.
bang them against something, and they make a note. And then a different sized one will make a different note. Anyway, that's what a boom whacker is.
Yeah. Okay.
The plot of the show was that we replaced our swords with that, and then we get news that the French are coming to invade us. So we're like freaking out, and then they come in and they're just playing little recorders instead of bringing their own weapons. So we're both just like, "Did your women make you change your weapons too?" And then the French are like, "Haha, we," because we couldn't write a good script for French people for some reason. Um, so that was the show. I was King Arthur. So I had the most
Oh.
lines of anybody. I sang over like 4 songs of the show. Two of them were solo songs or songs where I was like the main voice. Um, but there was also one late change that was made where I shared the role of King Arthur with another dude who looked nothing like me. and the explanation in the show was that what the explanation given was that I was older because the pressures of office have aged me. That was the exact line that I had to say. Someone said, Your Majesty, you look different. And then I go, Yes, it's true. The pressures of office have aged me. Even though I'm Filipino Colombian and the other kid was Korean, we looked nothing like each other. Like, how, whatever. I mean, it
Okay.
got a laugh
Okay.
out of the it got a laugh out of the parents, I guess. The
Yeah.
reason for it was because the music instructor thought that the kid was a good actor and she wanted him to be the lead, but he wasn't a good singer. So he did
Mhm.
like the first half of the show, which is just a lot of talking. I did the second half, which was a lot of singing.
Mhm.
So maybe she thought I just wasn't a good actor. I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway, yeah. After that, I never really did any talent shows or anything like that. I just kind of sing in my own time. Uh, yeah. The most I've done for singing was I have a channel points reward that says "Make me sing a song." That's it. Someone redeemed it once, and then they didn't even tell me what song to sing. So I just ended up singing "Happy Birthday."
So, singing.
Yeah.
So you you want to do something at the end or what?
Shoot.
I mean, if not the sax, right?
I mean, maybe if my throat doesn't hurt too much by the end.
Yeah, your
I
throat's not gonna
mean,
hurt.
maybe. You don't know. There's a
Come
lot of
on,
time
Lexi's
left.
watching. Lexi's watching.
Lexi watches me all the time. She can redeem that channel points reward whenever she wants.
Damn, like that. Okay, okay, fine, fine. I'll ask you again later.
All right, yeah. Ask me again later. Also, my camera's like tilted, tilted at the
Okay,
towers.
since we're still talking on your childhood right now, what are some of your favorite TV shows and games?
Ah, childhood TV shows or current, or both?
We could we could do both. Let's do that.
Both. All right, let's start with childhood then. My favorite childhood TV show was SpongeBob SquarePants, and a big reason for that was because the show came out on my birthday. The first episode was released on my birthday,
Wow.
or a day before it, I think. But I
Mhm.
like to say it was on. I just think that the show's really funny. I still watch back some like the early seasons now, and I think it holds up pretty well. Maybe not season one, but like seasons 2 and 3
Mhm.
made some really funny jokes. Um, I also really liked what other shows did I? That was the main one. It was also because that was just what was on most of the time. Because I would come home from school, and it would be SpongeBob, or it would be Dora the Explorer. But that's only in the middle of the day, because the way Nick did it back in the day, I don't think they do it anymore. There's separate channels now for Nick and Nick Jr. But back in the day, uh, Nickelodeon from about 7 or 8 a.m. till, or no, actually, it was in the morning where it was Nick Jr. And then after a certain hour, it became Nickelodeon. So in the mornings, I would watch like Dora because that's what was on. Uh,
Mhm.
and then when I get home, I would watch SpongeBob all day because that's all they would play. Um, so yeah, SpongeBob was my favorite game. My favorite show. Sorry, my favorite video game when I was a kid. Good question, because I played a lot of games. Um, hmm. I was a console gamer back then. You know, PC gaming wasn't really a thing back before like somewhere in the mid to late 2000s. I guess that's when it like blew up.
Mhm.
Um, but before all that, I was a PlayStation gamer. Like, I'm still a PlayStation gamer. I hate Xbox, dude. I don't like it at all. I've played Xbox and I've seen the games they have, and I just don't like them. So I played PlayStation. There was this one game called Crash Bandicoot that I absolutely love. They remade it for the PlayStation 4. So happy about that. Crash Bandicoot is a super fun platforming game where you collect gems and apples and you fight off like weird little animal creatures. It was awesome. And there was another game called Spyro the Dragon, and that game was cool too, and it's basically Crash Bandicoot, except it's a open 3D world. Not open, but it was more open than Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot was very linear. Um, Spyro was a lot more exploration,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to play as a little tiny dragon that breathes fire, which was awesome. And then there was a third game called Rayman that I love now, but I didn't love back then because it was so damn hard at the time. It was a platformer. It was a 2D platformer, and it was nearly impossible for my child-sized mind at the time. Um, and then I guess my next favorite game outside of those three would probably be pretty much any wrestling game that existed. There was a game called WWE Shut Your SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, WWE SmackDown versus Raw, and those were the big three that were around in my childhood. Because then I started to become a teenager, and
Yeah.
that's when they just kind of it was basically the same name of the game, but they just kept adding a different year. You know how
Mhm.
sports games are.
Yeah.
So that's my answer for childhood. For now, my favorite TV show, that's toss up. It's okay. I will probably list a few, and they will be in no particular order,
That's
if
fair.
that's cool.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
of course.
no particular order. Here are my some of my favorite TV shows: um, Parks and Rec, The Office, Brooklyn Nine Nine, Community. There was one more. There was one more. Oh, Friends. So I guess you can kind of see a theme with most of my
Yeah.
shows. A lot
Sitcoms,
of those
comedy, yeah.
sitcoms. I love sitcoms. I love good sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
Community is a hilarious show for 2 seasons. It's a 6 season show, and two of them are hilarious, and then the others are okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love the show as a whole. Yes, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is awesome. I love that show. I watch compilations of clips of that show daily. I think if you guys haven't already, definitely start watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine because the last season is in progress. So you can catch up. You can catch up today. So, yeah, I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And then for favorite video game, God, I don't want to say Valorant, but I feel like I have to. Cause okay,
We'll get into
before
that
Valorant
later,
came
but
out,
yeah.
yeah, before Valorant came out, my game was League. And before I started playing League, my favorite game was pretty much like whatever I was playing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I went around a lot to different games. I Once I hit a certain age, my brother just started getting all the damn like consoles,
Yeah.
so I could just try every game. I don't know how he got that money. He says he did like those survey websites, which makes a little bit of sense, but you only get like 5 cents a survey. So how many surveys was he doing? But yeah, I my favorite game now, if not Valorant, definitely not League. I hate League now. League is such a toxic, horrible game. Even though I played it a lot as recently as a few months ago, but that's for a different reason. I didn't play it because I liked it. I played it for a different reason, and we can talk about that later if it comes up.
Yes,
But
yes, okay.
yeah, yeah. So I guess I'll just say Valorant because I can't really think of any other games right now that I like.
That's cool. Sleeping listed something about Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I was. I That's what got me on that whole Brooklyn Nine Nine is awesome. You should watch it because you can catch up. The Backstreet Boy opening, my absolute favorite. That is a popular one. I do like that one. You can show that clip to like anybody, and I think they would laugh. Did you guys ever play Pop Tropica? I played it once in elementary school. I was more of a Club Penguin guy. Um, yeah, and
Thanks.
Roblox.
Sounds familiar, but I don't remember what Pop Tropica is.
It's like, yeah, it's just one of those little flash games where you get to make a character and play
Uh-huh.
some stuff. I was more of a Club Penguin guy personally. I was a member. My mom paid for my membership for about a year
Mm-hmm.
before she realized I stopped playing Club Penguin, and she stopped paying for my membership. But I was swagged out in the drip, bro. You got to listen, when I tell you I had ice on me, like on my wrist, bro. I had all the jewelry. I had these cool clothes and all
Yeah.
like but even then, I just spent all my time on Club Penguin playing this one card game. and it was basically rock paper scissors. Like it was a card game where each card had a type. There was like ice, water, and fire,
Mhm.
and they would have different values. So basically, it was rock paper scissors, but you couldn't tie because, or you could, but it'd be a lot harder because each card had a symbol and a number. So if you had the same symbol, the higher number would win. So, but you only had a limited number of cards, so you couldn't just say fire. You had to put whatever cards were from your hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the way you're
So
explaining. Okay, okay.
you would like draw cards, and each one was like rock, paper, or scissors, basically. So sometimes you would have all fires, so you could only play fire. So if the other person had all waters, you would just be screwed, right? But if you had an ice, then you could play that. So yeah, it was basically rock, paper, scissors mixed with like a card game of like, yeah, you basically had to draw your rock, your paper, or your scissors. It's like
Mhm.
Uno almost in that sense, but not quite. Club Penguin was not stupid, and I resent you saying that. I need you to I need you to take a little bit of a timeout. I need you to take a breather and think about what you said. Wilson, time them out. This person does not deserve the right to speak for about 10 minutes.
It's okay. It's okay. Just he'll do him.
Mm.
All right. More into the childhood. Let's talk a little bit more about WWE wrestling because I was also a big fan. When did you start watching it? Let's start with that. What got you into it?
Really, really young. My brother was into it, and my sister technically for a while.
Uh-huh.
But she kind of fell out of it. My brother stayed in it. I stayed in it. My brother's still into it. I'm a little less into it now, but I still
Yeah.
keep up. Like I still follow the Instagrams and stuff.
When did you?
I started watching.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh yeah, I started watching when. How old was I? It was definitely like mid 2000, because I remember like I kind of base it based on what the stage looked like, because that's kind of how I get an idea of what year it was. But that doesn't really help explain it to anybody.
Or like
because
what
I
wrestlers
know-
were still around
Oh,
and all
that's
that.
a
Or
good
like
way to
who
say
were
it.
like the biggest ones there.
The main ones that were there at the time were,
Was it after The Rock?
I think it was like right after The Rock left.
Yeah,
Because
Ruthless Aggression.
I played the wrestling video games uh, before I actually started watching wrestling religiously, which is weird.
Mhm.
But the main names that I can think of that were there when I was watching were people like, oh man, I guess 2004 is actually a good year to say, because we rented the 2004 Royal Rumble um, from Blockbuster, which should tell you about how long ago this was. They had like DVDs of certain pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess then maybe it wasn't 2004, because I don't think they would have had the rental there in the same year. Maybe it was like a few months later. I don't know. That's the first thing I remember watching though, is the for 2004 Royal Rumble. Not just the main match. I like they had every match on the card too.
Mhm.
And I think also the 2008 Royal Rumble I watched. So somewhere between 2004 and maybe 2006 is when I started watching it religiously. And then that's when Jeff Hardy became my favorite guy, because he's cool as hell.
Yeah, he definitely was one of the most awesome high flyers at the time.
The people that were there that I can remember were like John Cena and The Undertaker, Kane, Batista was there. Another guy with a name that WWE doesn't say anymore.
Similar era to when I started watching, honestly, so I know. You have a top 5? Yeah, WWE.
Top 5 isn't best, or top 5 isn't favorite? 'Cause if you
Favorites
ask me for
back
best,
then.
I can't. Favorites back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
Jeff
order.
Hardy's number.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy's definitely number one, no matter what. I don't care. Jeff Hardy's number one. He is my favorite of all time. How far back are we going? Because are we talking like my childhood favorite 5, or like my now favorite, or combo?
I mean, I guess you could do of all time for you.
Okay, because I was gonna say some of them are kind of recent, or not recent, but like maybe from like 10 years ago,
Yeah, that's
which
fair.
I guess is. Oh, I was kind of a child then back then. Huh? So I guess my top 5 then in that case would be Jeff Hardy, and then after this is in no particular order. CM Punk,
Nice.
Shawn Michaels,
That's
Chris
mine.
Jericho, and John Cena.
I like it. Solid picks.
I like them.
Solid picks.
Those are my favorites. Those aren't who I think are the best, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite guys. I don't want anyone thinking that I think that Jeff Hardy's better than any of the rest of them. Because obviously the others are like better wrestlers.
Yeah.
But Jeff Hardy just jumps off of stuff. And I think
Did
wrestlers Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is cool as hell right now.
Roman Reigns
I like
is fire. Did it hit you different when you found out that wrestling was scripted?
What do you mean?
Like, did you think it was real or what?
It is real.
I knew you were gonna do that. I had to be careful with my wording, but it's too late. You know what? I'm not gonna break the bad news to you. Let's
no, I mean, I don't even remember how I found out, but
you.
I don't think that was.
You get it.
Yeah.
We went through that.
Yeah, I don't think that was the moment that I started disliking wrestling, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you would dislike it, but it was different.
I honestly think that wrestling was a little bit ruined for me. Not even completely ruined, just ruined to a certain degree. When, like, with the outbreak of, like, social media and, like, all these news outlets, because that's how they really started exposing stuff. Like, now I know everything that's going to happen. I know people who are coming back. Like, I know who's leaving. I think that's lame. Because back then there was like you didn't know anything.
Element of surprise.
I didn't know anything. Yeah. Yes. Like when people would come back, you'd be like, "Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that." Like, whoa. Like when Brock Lesnar came back in 2013, there were people talking about it, but I didn't read anything about it. I just heard people chanting for like Lesnar, and I was like, why do people want Brock Lesnar right now? He hasn't been here for years. You guys are weird. And then he came back, and I'm like, whoa. I guess that also explains how when certain people returned, they would always have the signs ready in the crowd, and I'm like, how did you know he was gonna be there? He hasn't been here. But yeah, wrestling was not ruined for me when I found out it was scripted. It was ruined for me with people just revealing every single aspect of it, I think.
Yeah.
And also, I think people nowadays, I don't like the fans sometimes. Like the
chants
are
do.
Annoying. Yeah, that, and also if you look on like social media or anywhere where people discuss wrestlers, I just don't love the idea of everyone, because it seems nowadays like people just cheer the bad guys and boo the good guys, and I hate that because that ruins it for kids, like kids that we were. Like when I was a kid, people would boo John Cena, and I'm like, why are you booing John Cena? He's a good guy. He's the good guy. You're supposed to cheer for him. But my sister would cheer for Randy Orton, and I'm like, he's the bad guy. You're not supposed to cheer for him. But she's like, he's hot, and I'm like, shut up. He's the bad guy. You can't cheer for the bad guy. And then I found out that John Cena and Randy Orton were like really good friends in real life, and that ruined some. That kind of made me sad when I found that out because I thought they actually hated each other. Hold on, what's like?
Yeah. So Stacy asked, "Are you more of a heel or face?"
I'm a tweener. If y'all know what that means.
Is that in between? Yeah. Okay. You call it a tweener? All right.
That's what that's what people call it. It's the
best heel person for you.
Best heel?
Yeah.
Good question. I would say best heel.
I'm split between two, but I want to hear what you say. I don't watch recent wrestling, by the way.
What was your cutoff year? Like when did you stop?
Maybe like 2011, 12.
Oh my god, yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah. Man, if you started catching up now, you'd be like, what the hell is this? Who the hell are these people?
No, I've seen a bit, but there's just so many new faces. Like, for example, back then, Daniel Bryan wasn't shit. And then I saw him like a few years back. Yeah. He's like favorite. I'm just like, what happened?
Yeah.
What
he was like, man? He's like the guy. Everyone's cheering for him, bro.
Just like that, a
Like,
lot changed.
dude, oh my God, you weren't there for Daniel Bryan's whole big thing then. Oh man, that was one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history.
No, I had no idea. I just know he has like yes chants.
Yeah, he just started chanting yes a lot, and
Mhm.
everyone fucking loved it. But to answer your question of who's the best heel, that's really tough. I keep wanting to say The Rock. I think The Rock was money as a heel. I think he was golden. Like, he was really
Oh, you
good
mean
as a
during
heel.
his return or what?
Just anytime he was a heel.
Okay.
Like, especially when he was like Hollywood Rock, I think he was really good at pissing people off.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he was doing that whole gimmick where he was a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
I think he was really good as a heel. Even though that's like just barely before I started being religious about it, I definitely saw it. Like
Yeah,
I saw
of
this
course.
guy and I was like, I hate this guy. Randy Orton's probably one of the best heels too.
That was one of my picks. Yes.
Randy Orton's just good. Like he can be a good guy or a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bad guy like a few months ago, and now he's like one of the big good guys.
Oh.
Which is weird.
Okay, I guess they keep switching it.
Yeah, he switched a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has facial hair, like a mustache and a chin beard, and it's like, so yeah, probably The Rock or Randy Orton are the best heels. Edge was pretty good, but I don't know if he was like one of the best.
That was actually my second one
Edge.
too. So you know what you're talking about. You got it.
Yeah, Jerry the King Lawler. I wasn't around enough for when Jerry was like being a heel. I was only around when Jerry the King Lawler was like just a commentary guy, just an annoying commentary
or he would
guy.
come back from time to time.
Yeah. Also, whenever I saw him wrestle, he was a face because someone would pick on him and be like, "Jerry, you're old. Fight me," and then he'd be like, "Okay," and then he would team with John Cena or something. You know how they do.
Yeah. Really old people keep wrestling like Ric Flair or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's my answer.
That was the WWE talk. Pretty brief. Let's get back to talking about you, I guess. We could... any other childhood stories you want to talk about? Because we could just finish up with, like... Or we can move on to school specifically, since you're, college life.
I guess I could tell one story.
Sure.
It's not really a story about me. It's just something that happened to me. So
yeah.
Here's a fun little tangent for you guys. I have about 10 scars on my body. You can't really see them because my camera quality is about 240p. So I have a scar right here, somewhere on my lip. I forget which side. I actually forget I have scars a lot, but then sometimes people point them out to me. I have one right here. I have one on my pinky. I have one on right here, and then I have one on my knee. Also, I'm wearing pajamas. I have one right here, and then I have one on my foot. So those are all the scars I have. 9 of those scars are from the same incident. So,
oh jeez.
What happened was when I was about 8 years old. I'm gonna move to the center a bit more. When I was about 8 years old, I was at my cousin's house for her birthday, and I was like bored, so I just started looking around, and I looked into her brother's room because he was playing video games or whatever. And I found like this toy gun, and it had the orange nozzle, so it was obviously. And I found 2 of them, and then there was this kid who walked in. I don't even know who this kid was, man. He definitely wasn't my cousin, but he just walked in and he was like, "You want to play?" And I was like, "Sure, take a gun, man." And then he started shooting at me. It was just air, but it was barely even air. It wasn't even an airsoft gun. So he started shooting at me. He started chasing me around the house. I run into the living room. There's a sliding glass door there. I think this door is open. So I jump over that little thing that it slides on. Jump over it. But like I didn't actually like jump over it as much as I jumped into a big like panel of glass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hit the glass, I fall back, glass like breaks and shatters, falls on top of me as I'm on the ground. And then I get up, and I'm like, all right, what happened? And then I hear,
Bless you.
Thanks. I look around and I hear people screaming, and I'm like, why are you guys screaming? Like, cause I didn't feel anything. I just got up and I was like, what are you guys screaming about? And then I look down and I see that my socks are red, but they weren't red when I put them on. So that's the weird part. Then I was like, okay, maybe that's the problem. Yeah. So then, yeah, that's how I got, and then I got rushed to the hospital. And then now I got scars all on my body, and I
Did
missed
you need
school
like a
for
lot
a
of
few.
stitches or what?
Oh yeah, all of them were stitched up, like
Oh.
here, yeah, my leg, my foot.
Ooh.
I couldn't walk for like a week because there were stitches on the heel of my foot.
Oh, but you didn't break anything.
Oh no, I
Okay.
just got a bunch of scars. So I may have accidentally pulled out a couple of stitches, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at that point they were already healed, so it's cool.
Jeez, what a story.
Yeah, little little tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first thing I tell people when I match with someone on Tinder. Like, hey, want to hear how I got my 9 scars?
Let's go finish up school. So I guess your transition out of high school. What was the plan and what are you up to now?
When I got out of high school,
Yeah.
like what was my plan? Well, I think when I was in high school, I knew that I was gonna go to a community college
Okay.
because I didn't aim for a university.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also part of the reason I started doing so poorly in high school because I knew that all I had to do was get my degree. I didn't have to be a stellar student or anything. Um, my sister and my brother both went to community college right after high school, and they both strongly recommended it because it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier, and it makes it easier for you to get into a university sometimes. Um, because like I think it doesn't require as high of a GPA depending on where you apply.
Transfer, yeah.
Was that?
They transferred from community to like.
Yeah. So my sister, oh man, this is gonna be me talking about my sister. I love telling this story,
Mhm.
or this path. She was a terrible student in high school, so she went to community college probably not by choice. She just had to. She couldn't get into any of the school, so she went to a community college. And she ended up being able to transfer to UC Irvine.
Mhm.
Finished up her undergrad over there. Then she got into USC Law School, and she's now a lawyer. After having like a 2.0 GPA in high school, she made
Jeez.
it all the way there. My brother, similar path, not quite as far yet. He went to high school, same high school. He went to same community college, and then he ended up getting into like Cal State Long Beach and started doing that stuff. He got his like he got a degree from DeVry, and then I think he's trying to get into a master's program right
Mhm.
now. After taking a little bit of time off, but right now he kind of already is doing his like a career job. Not maybe his final job that he wants to do. Like maybe this isn't the end goal, but it's kind of along the same path. He studied engineering, so his job right now is that he goes to like businesses and he like sets up their computers, he sets up all this stuff, like he gives them basically the tools that they need to like set up, all that stuff, sets up like their internet, all that business, and he like configures everything.
Mhm.
And he also does some coding every now and then. That's the thing. So their paths made me be like I should go to community college too.
Yeah.
So I did. Um, I went to one community college, kind of fucked up over there. So I am now going to a different community college. So I'm a little bit behind technically. I'm like a few years behind. I
Mhm.
have friends 1 year younger than me who are actually already finishing college, and I'm over here like I still need to transfer again.
All good.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Different
I
pacing.
won't. Unfortunately, with the pace I'm going at right now, I probably won't be able to transfer until 2023.
Okay.
So that's when I'm aiming to transfer. Even though I started in at this school in 2020,
Mhm.
uh, spring semester, I won't be able to transfer until spring semester of 2023.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take some time. And then once I transfer and finish that, then I have even more med school to do. Oh yeah, I want to get into med school. I want to be a doctor.
Mhm.
So that's my goal. If I
Let's
don't
go.
become a doctor, that's fine. I'll settle for being a nurse. Just lean into that Filipino stereotype. That's fine.
Yeah.
So that's my goal right now.
Are you going to school in person right now?
Yeah. Yeah. We just started this semester going back to school in person.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah.
Do you prefer that?
No, not right now. Maybe once I transfer, I'll prefer it. But right now, I just want to do assignments and get out. Like
Uh,
it was so much easier in online school.
mhm.
It was also a lot easier to look up some answers, but don't tell anyone I looked up the answers. Um, it was a lot easier to cheat on tests.
Yeah. So you're
Ah,
not really involved with school then, huh? Like clubs, activities.
no, not really. Not yet. I think I'll probably try to get into clubs one time.
Yeah.
Feeling a little more comfortable in my role, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe next year once things start picking back up. Because if you go to my school right now, it's
Mhm.
actually pretty empty. Because there's only some classes are online, some are in person. So if at my school right now, every time I go to class, there's so much parking, which was very rare for the pandemic. I could never get a parking spot, but now there's only like 3 cars in the parking lot whenever I go there. So, yeah,
Nice.
some people online, some people in person. I just happen to be one of the classes that's in person, and then next month I start another class that's also in person.
Hope you're not stressing out, man.
Oh, I am, but what are you gonna do?
Cool. So now let's transition to work. So let's talk about your first job and just go down the line from there and your experience.
My first job was at Target. I didn't get my first job till I was 18,
Okay.
so I was already at high school.
Mhm.
So I worked at Target for about 3 months because I was a seasonal worker. I got hired in October. I got let go in January.
Yeah.
Or my contract expired, which is it was all right, honestly. It was retails. My job title was I worked in apparel, so my job basically was just fold clothes, make them look nice. If you see something out of place, fix it. Grab clothes from the back and put them on the shelves.
Mhm.
Also, for some reason, our job was to pick up the phone.
Ah,
So if someone called that Target store, I was the one who picked up, and
Yeah.
I would transfer them to wherever they needed to go, which is really weird.
Mhm.
Um, that was my first job. The people were okay. I didn't really make friends with any of them because I knew I wasn't going to be there long.
Oh, you
And
mean the employees? Okay.
oh yeah, the employees, the guests, like the customers, they were also okay.
Mhm.
Um, it's a Target, so people are usually a little bit cooler over there than maybe at say Walmart. For some reason, I think the atmosphere of Target is a lot nicer than the atmosphere of Walmart. Walmart, I feel like whenever I go in, it's always so hectic. Like everyone's
Dude,
just scrambling.
I must agree
But
with you 100%.
yeah, so
Facts.
it was all right. The
Mhm.
people, like the coworkers, were okay. I didn't really talk to them a lot because we were usually in different zones or sections
Mhm.
when we were working, and we would meet up every now and then. But even then, that was when I was still getting used to the idea of talking to my coworker because that was my first job. I didn't know that I was allowed to just talk to my coworker, so I didn't. Um, but fun fact, that is where I met one of my exes.
Yeah, we'll get
Uh,
into that after. No,
yeah,
no worries. Just
just
talk about jobs for now.
throwing that in there.
Mhm.
My second job uh, was at an amusement park. So once my contract expired at Target, I started working at an amusement park called Knott's Berry Farm, and I got hired there through a hiring event that they were having that I found out the day of. I was just scrolling through Indeed for jobs, and I found out they were having a hiring event, and it was gonna end in like 2 hours from when I was checking it. And the place is only like 15 minutes away from my house, so I was like, "Mom, let's go. I should go, right?" And then she was like, "Yeah, you should go." And I was like, "Well, maybe I shouldn't." And then she said, "No, you should just go." And then so I went, And then I ended up getting the job. I worked as a ride operator, so I was the guy pushing
Ooh.
all the buttons. Um,
Yeah.
and by pushing all the buttons, really all that means is I was pushing about two buttons.
Uh-huh.
That's it. A lot of people think that ride operating is complicated. It's not. It's super easy. A lot of the buttons are just there for very specific purposes. There's one button that you press that starts the ride, for most of them. So I worked at Knott's for 2 years. The first about 3 months, 6 months or so, I forget.
Okay.
I worked at the kids area because that's a starter area. That's where people who are just hired go to work. Um, so I worked there. Then I got trained to go to a big roller coaster, which was very exciting because not everyone gets to go to big roller coasters. Only if you're like a good boy for the first month or few, you get to go to a big roller coaster. So I went to one. I worked there for a few months. Then the pandemic happened. Uh, the people at Snoopy or the kids area, I call it Snoopy because it's called Camp Snoopy, because the park is based off of Peanuts characters, which is cool. The coworkers there was very much like a high school where there was a lot of drama, and I just didn't want to be a part of it. I was like, whatever, man. If you want to be my friend, cool. If you don't, I don't care. I'm not gonna whatever. Like I just try to be
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
I just try to be cool with everyone. Um, if I heard of drama, I did my best to stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there was one instance where I got into drama, but I think we can talk about that later.
Sure.
Um, because it pertains to a girl, so um, we'll talk about that later probably. Uh, then I got moved to Silver Bullet, which is the big roller coaster. Your feet are dangling on this ride, so that's cool. Um, I didn't really like the crew there. They were very much a tight knit group, so I was very much like an outsider.
Yeah.
Um, but I was cool with a couple of people there who were not part of that group, so that was all right. Then my last ride that I got sent to was a shooting game, like a 3D shooting game. You go into a tunnel, and then there's like targets on the screen, and you're shooting at targets with like a little blaster gun. And that's where I worked for about 4 months or so before I quit. This was after the pandemic, so we opened that ride. We opened the park back up in May of this year, and
Okay.
then that's when I started working again. That's when I got moved to the new ride.
Yeah.
So when we reopened, that was basically my first time working at the new ride, or my first shift working at the new ride.
Mm-hmm.
Then in August, I quit because I was like, I want out. This place sucks because I was getting 13-hour shifts back to back to back, and I was like,
Oh,
I don't want to do this.
jeez.
I don't want to do this anymore. I got school, man. I got other things to do.
Yeah.
If there's something depressing about driving to work when the sun is up, like just barely coming out of the sky, and then leaving work when it's like pitch black outside. Something kind of sad
True.
about that. So those, and then my current job, I work as a barista at Starbucks. I'm still training, so can't really say too much about that job right now. But yeah,
How'd you decide to go for Starbucks?
um, they pay well.
So you
And
just
it's
knew
really,
that they paid well. Okay.
I knew what the wage was, and I knew it was close to my house, and I was like, this just sounds interesting to me, and I like Starbucks. So
Yeah.
I applied to a lot of places actually.
Oh, I see. I see.
I applied to Starbucks. I applied to Uniqlo. I applied to Adidas. I applied to another Starbucks because there are multiple stores near me. I applied to a few places. I applied to like an escape room uh, near
Cool.
Disneyland,
Yeah.
but that's a little too far for me. They actually almost gave me the job, I'm pretty sure. Um, but it was just too far for me, and
Mhm.
the pay was not enough to make up for the extra gas I would be using. So yeah, it just wasn't enough to convince me to leave my current job at Knott's. But then I got the job at Starbucks, and that was enough to make me be like, all right, get me out of the amusement park, let me into Starbucks.
Yeah. So sleeping shares the same sentiment. Staying at work all day.
Yeah, it's really sad. It just makes me feel like I wasted a day of my life. So I didn't want to do that anymore. Now that I'm at Starbucks, the shifts are definitely a lot shorter. I might have more shifts throughout the week because when I worked at Knott's, I told them I only wanted to work weekends because I had
Yeah.
school during the week, which they were cool with, but I couldn't pick my hours on the weekends, so that was interesting. Um, so they made it so I had to be fully available on Saturday and Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
which basically meant you're going to work all day on Saturdays and Sundays. And that's how it went every weekend. I never got a Saturday or Sunday off in those last 4 months of working. So that was just like, I can't do that anymore. I need time, bro. I need time to do my thing. Because
Yeah.
even if I'm not at school technically, I need time to do my work. And now that I am also streaming, I need time to stream, man. I do school during the week. I want to stream on weekends, or if I can, but I can't do that if I'm working 13 hours. So I was like, give me a job that has shorter shifts, but I don't care if they're more through the week. Just make them shorter.
Yeah.
And I got
Okay.
it. So
There you go. So about the amusement park job, was it boring then? It sounds like it would be boring if you're there all day pressing two buttons.
it got repetitive.
Yeah.
Um, so I wouldn't say it got boring. It got tiring after a while. Like I would just kind of my legs would get tired and I'd get sleepy sometimes if I was in the position where you get to sit down and push the buttons. Because some rides require like 4 to 5 people to operate it
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes there's a button that I can't press in the booth. Sometimes like it's on the other side of the ride, so sometimes someone else has to press it.
Yeah.
But they don't know when to press it unless like someone over here signals that we're ready, and then they signal to that person to the button, and that person who presses the button signals to somebody else that they're pressing the button, and then I see that signal and I'm like, okay, I can press the button now. So that's the main reason that there's so many people at a ride sometimes. And then we would rotate positions, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't get boring per se, but it would just get very tiring and it would feel very long and repetitive. Um,
Yes.
yeah, because I pretty much would like because there were certain things we had to say, right? Because you have to say like safety things or tell them where
Yes.
to go. I would pretty much say things the same exact way. Um, and it got really bad at my last ride because we would run that ride constantly. Like it was consistently like go and then load people, go. But at like some other rides, you have some downtime or not downtime, but there's like things you have to do in between go and then the next go. There's like things you have to do. You might have to, get everyone off, let people in, blah blah blah.
For
But at
sure.
the last ride, there's just like consistently like, send these people, go in, send them, go, send, like that kind of thing. It's one of those kind of rides with that's like I
Got
guess you
it.
could think of it like a conveyor belt, but
Uh huh.
so it got tiring. I guess sometimes it got boring, but I was more annoyed at the fact that I was just there for 13 hours.
Yeah.
The
What
job itself was okay.
What were the perks?
Hmm, good question.
Like free rides or something? Free admission?
Yeah, we got into the park for free.
Okay.
Um, you would get a certain number of tickets every few months for free as well. But honestly, I don't think we would get that many because like my first year, every 3 months I would only get like 2 tickets. I'm like, well, who am I gonna bring with 2 tickets? Like, it's a pretty small group to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, yeah, sometimes we would have a. They kept saying they would do days where it would just be like the workers who get to go into the park, and like there's no random people, like no public. Um, but we only did that once, and it was in 2019.
Just
So
once. Got
yeah,
it.
they told us we were gonna do it more, but we didn't. So, um, but that day was pretty cool. I think I should have stayed longer that day because I would have enjoyed it. Oh wait, no, I lied. They did do it again. Twice then, I guess technically they did it. Total. I didn't go to the second one because there was somebody asking me to go, and I didn't have the heart to say I didn't want to go with them, and so I just ended up not going at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I knew that if I didn't go with them, then I didn't even want to go with anybody. So
Hmm.
it was one of those things. Like I wasn't allowed to bring. I don't even think we were allowed to bring in a friend for that one. The first time we were allowed to bring somebody in. I brought my girlfriend at the
Hmm.
time, who also happened to work there, and I think she still works there.
Got it.
But yeah, the second time we weren't allowed to bring anybody unless they worked there. So I was like, I'm not gonna go by myself. That's weird. I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
So those were pretty much all the perks, and the food at the cafeteria was cheap. I guess it was pretty cost efficient, but the cafeteria location itself was not very efficient. It was about 5 minutes away from where I was working.
Yeah,
Like I had to walk across the whole park to get there.
got it.
Uh, yeah, and then there was like discounts and stuff, but I didn't want to. I didn't really buy stuff from there. I didn't really go to the park on my off days because you know,
Hmm.
especially now because I don't think you're allowed to go into the park unless you specifically reserve your spot.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so last question in regards to work. Any ridiculous customer service story? Ever come across someone that was just horrible for any of your jobs? Because you worked at Target, you dealt with people at an amusement park, now you're training for
Yeah.
Starbucks. You're gonna be dealing with people.
That's true. I think most of those stories are probably ahead of me, honestly.
Ah,
But,
okay.
I can't off the top of my head. I
Ah,
mean, you know,
no
I would
worries,
run
though.
into I would run into stupid people for sure.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
but the issues were usually very similar, especially at knots. Like, the issues were very similar. It was like the ride would break or something, and I'd have to explain it to everybody, and then they'd be like, "Well, why is it broken?" Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Man, I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. I just press the button. You think I know how this ride works?" Like,
Yeah.
no, dude. I did have people get mad at me, um, for like reasons of how the line works, because how it works at Knott's is you can buy these wristbands and they basically let you cut a lot of the line. It doesn't get you to the front, which a lot of people don't know.
Hmm.
They don't realize that it doesn't get you to the front, that it just lets you cut a lot of the line. So I had to keep telling people at our ride specifically, because it's not very well marked. They would accidentally walk into the area where they're not supposed to go,
Yeah.
and I'd have to be like, "Hey, go back. You're supposed to go in through there." And then people would get mad at me, and then they'd be like, "No, that's ridiculous. We bought this. We paid. It cost like $85 for the wristband, um, per person,
Jeez,
yeah,
what the hell?
which is more than a ticket, I think." Um,
What the
so
fuck?
there were people who were like, "No, that's ridiculous. I paid this money. You need to. I want to talk to your manager." And I'm like, "All right, cool. Get out there." And then I get my manager, and they say the same exact thing, because you know how it goes. Your people
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
understand that we are literally correct, and you bringing out the manager doesn't make you right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, I mean, I had one person who snuck their kid onto a ride. Back when I was working at the kids area, there was a kid or a person, like two people, who snuck their kid onto the ride and put him in a seat. And I was like, "What?" They snuck him through the exit, because
Oh,
um the exit is pretty close to the entrance, honestly.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so they like walked to the exit. As I was getting people out of the ride, they put someone onto the plane, or like the little plane of the ride. And I was like, "What?" And they thought I didn't notice. So I walk over there,
Mm-hmm.
and my partner, like the coworker, they they started loading people in to the ride, and I go up to the parents and I'm like, "You can't just leave them to the exit. You have to." And then they just looked away like they didn't hear me, and I said, "Excuse me, you guys can't put. You have to wait through the line." And they said, "Oh no, it's okay. They told us to come through here." And I said, "No, they who told you that? Like, no, you're wrong." And then I just was like, "Who told you that?" And they said, "Oh, uh, Steven from team like blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Who the no, I don't know who that is. Do you want me to call them and confirm?" And they were like, "No, just let us go." And I was like, "I can't." And they were like, "Well, we're not getting him off. We're not taking him off the ride."
What the hell?
So I was like, "Fine." And I had to call security. I couldn't start the ride because I'm not allowed to kick people off, or I'm not allowed to kick them off. I'm not allowed to physically get them off. And
Yeah.
I'm also like it's not allowed. So I had to call security. I had to wait for security to come, which took about like 10 minutes because they're on the complete other side of the park. Literally corner to corner. This is me, this is security. If you look at a map, I'm here,
Yeah,
they're
it's
here.
okay. It's their fault. It's not your fault. So people get
It's
mad.
annoying. It's
Just
annoying.
point at them and be like, "It's their fault."
Yeah, dude, that's what I said. People were like, why are you not letting people in?" And I was like, "Because we have a security problem that we have to deal with, and blah blah blah. You know, there are people like I couldn't say exactly what was happening because
Mhm.
that breaks some rules, but I just had to say we have a security problem we have to deal with, and we're not allowed to start the ride until it's dealt with." And they were like, "Ugh," and I was like, "I know, right?"
Mhm.
Um, so that's probably one of the worst ones I can think of. Also, people
Gotcha.
just line cutting, being stupid, people
Oh,
fighting with
okay.
each other. Someone
Yeah.
got stabbed, I think, at the rides, but I wasn't there, so I just heard about it. But that must have been a terrible time too.
Okay, cool. Well, that sums up work. Let's move on. Let's get into relationships and potential heartbreaks. So, let's start from the beginning. You could talk about whatever your crushes, actual relationships. You could get as deep as you'd like. It's really up to you. If you don't feel comfortable, just let me know. Let's go.
No, it's just interesting because uh, in my friend group, I am considered a shrimp. So, without saying the actual word, because I don't think I can say the actual word, right? Can I?
Let's
Without the
not.
without the HR,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
I'm
go.
not
Go on,
allowed
go
to
on,
say.
go on without
Yeah,
saying it.
cool. So, that's who I am basically. I've been the kind of kid who just had a crush on girls since like a young age. Like,
Hmm.
I think my earliest crush was in kindergarten.
Nothing
Um,
wrong with that. Okay.
yeah, nothing wrong with it, especially because I was like 5, so I didn't even know what a crush was exactly. I just knew I liked hanging out with this girl, so I would just hang out with her more. Um, I've also just liked hanging. I just liked having friends that are girls for some reason more than having friends that are guys. Now I like having guy friends too, obviously. But
Hmm.
when I was a kid, I definitely liked hanging out with the girls more often. Um, and I just had a lot of crushes throughout the years. Just every year it was like a different girl because it was just someone who was in my class basically, and every year the class was different. So my first real crush was probably in middle school.
Hmm.
Uh, it was this girl that I met in my English class. We became best friends, and we would like call every night um, on Uvu, if you remember that. That
Wow.
was
Hmm.
yeah, that
Go back.
that should yeah. Um, we would call on Uvu, and she would like send me videos that she made, like dumb little videos that she made, and I was like, man, you should marry me. I didn't say that, but I thought that.
Yeah.
So, end of my 7th grade year, so after the first year of middle school, but before the second and last year, that summer, I made the very smart decision of messaging her that I liked her on Facebook, not on her wall through Facebook Messenger, um, but I confessed to her through text basically. And I also made the very smart decision of giving her a long essay of how she made me feel, because I'm just so good with knowing how to talk to women, and it was bad.
Wait, you
I
guys were
can look
close
back.
friends though, right?
We were best friends, yeah.
Got it. To confirm. Cool, cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that if we weren't best friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, uh, then I saw that like a few hours passed and she didn't respond, and I was like, huh, I'm sad now. So I double texted. and I messaged her, and I was like, if you don't feel the same, you can just let me know. I won't be hurt. It's okay. And then I triple texted, and then sent her a message that was like, you know what? I get it. I can take a hint. That whole thing. And then she sent me a message that was like, yeah, I was asleep, so I didn't see it. But that was a dumb excuse because I sent the message at like 12 p.m. and the most recent message I sent was at like 3 p.m. I don't think she was asleep, but I think she was just trying to think
Cover
about
up.
her
Yeah,
response.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She gave me the whole, I like you, but not in that way. Can we still be friends? I'm not looking for a boyfriend. Blah 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 blah. That whole thing. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That whole thing. Then she came back 8th grade and had a boyfriend. So I was like, all right, bet. Eighth
Oh
grade,
shit.
but it's okay. 8th grade, I had a different crush who was also my best friend. I never confessed it to her though because I was like, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. Which was the right decision because I got over it the next year.
Oh wait, so you
Um,
guys parted ways or what?
she just ended up being in a different friend group than me.
I see.
We didn't have any classes together anymore, so
Yeah,
yeah, that whole
natural.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think so. I honestly think because that's at the start of that year, we were in the same friend group. Um, but I would try to talk to her, and she would seem uncomfortable. So I was like, okay, maybe I just shouldn't be in this friend group anymore because I don't want to be here if it makes her uncomfortable. So that's when I
Okay.
started becoming friends with like band kids a little bit more. Um, so that was my first crush.
Okay.
We started talking again in high school. Nothing transpired from it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, friend stuff. We hung out a couple times, and I haven't talked to her in a long time. But I know she has a boyfriend now, and she's had a boyfriend for a while, so that's cool for her. Happy
Mm-hmm.
for her. My next real crush was probably my freshman year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was someone in band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a saxophone too. She was a year older than me. Um, I just thought she was really pretty, and we ended up being best friends again. Same story, pretty much. But spoiler: this story does not end with me confessing to
Okay.
her. So yeah, we became best friends. Nothing happened. I just had a crush on her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of on and off through high school. I had a crush on her. And then at one point, I even think I said like, "Yeah, I mean, did you know I had a crush on you?" And she was like, "Yeah, I knew." And I was like, "Oh, so you did know? Oh, that's cool." So just okay, you know, I was a little hurt because I was like, "Damn, she didn't even tell me she knew. Just tell me that you know, so that I can shut it down in my heart. Don't string me along. Don't make me keep thinking these things." Uh,
Mm-hmm.
at least that's how I felt about it. I was like, I'd
Yeah.
rather be cut off than have this false hope. But that leads to my sophomore year, where I got my first girlfriend. Um,
So you
she,
were you still best friends with the freshman year band girl?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but I got over her as soon as I saw this other girl. Like the second I saw her, I was like, I don't know who,
Mm-hmm.
what. Um, but to be clear, it's not like I went from one crush to another. I had a crush, and then it died for like a few months, and then a new girl came in, and I was
Yeah.
like, who cares about this girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I got my first girlfriend my sophomore year. She was a year younger than me. She was really cool. Uh, you know, we had a lot of good times together. Kind of on and off through high school, which was not ideal, honestly. I would have rather just kind of stayed with it, but I think my problem was that oh,
Oh.
Pog.
Oh shoot. Oh. What the heck? Jess, thank you so much for the raid. By the way, guys, it's Jess's birthday. Happy
Bro,
birthday. Welcome everyone. What's up? Hope you had an amazing stream. Thank you guys for being a part of the raid. Savi Zoom. Nom, what's up? What's up? Hey, Andy, it's time. Hit him with the happy birthday singing.
No, that's a copyrighted song. I can't do that.
Oh shoot. Okay, fine. It's okay.
Happy
Huh?
to you. There you go. I just sang the beginning and the
Happy
end.
birthday.
And then you
Here,
just
Bandit,
fill in the
welcome.
rest.
Welcome
Happy
to the
birthday!
stream.
Welcome.
Oh my
Oh!
god. Your mom.
Pog! That is absolutely poggers.
Your mom, thank you for gifting our good old friend, Jess.
Hooray!
Oh, this is crazy, Jess. Can't believe you rated me on your
We're popping
birthday
off,
too.
yeah.
Sheesh. We're just here doing a podcast, you know, talking to my good friend Andy here. Wait, what the?
What?
What the heck?
Mm.
Thank you so much for the gifted sub, Jess. You don't have to do this. No, I'm with the biddies too, guys.
Non-zombie cheered.
Oh.
X100.
Jeez, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome.
Pog!
Wait.
You guys
No. Relax. We don't need a hype train. It's chill. Joe, aka
guys.
Epic, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Welcome in.
Yeah, guys, we don't need a hype train. Come on.
Yeah,
Save your money.
Yeah, save your money. Come on.
Save your money. Go buy yourself
Bro,
something.
what are you doing?
Guys, come on. Save your money.
Andy, I appreciate you. Man, the guest here really went and jumped on the hype train. Thank you. And you gifted Lexi. Okay. Nice.
Whoop.
Lexi, if you're still here, you know, we appreciate you.
She better be
Oh,
here.
Jambles, hello. Hello, much love.
Oh, 5 pull-ups, Pog!
Nathan, what the? Okay, I guess. But anyways, Jess, hope you had a wonderful stream. What the
Whoa!
fuck?
Hooray!
Yo, I think it's time that you sing for real now, Andy.
What?
Your mom, what are you doing? Thank you so much. Oh my god. Guys, why? I didn't even do anything. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. Ah, my mod is here. Let's go. Thank you so much for giving a huge shout out. Ooh, sing happy birthday for Shubi. Alright, Andy, I'll sing with you if you sing with me, so, you know.
Wait, I gotta lubricate the throat. Hold on.
Wait, you're an actual singer though. Can you just like go with my pitch, you know? This is for Jess. Is Angelica here too? Because they're twins, both their birthdays.
Ah.
We'll name both of them. Bulb, welcome to the stream. Hope all is well. Oh god, you guys are insane. Oh yeah, they were drinking. They were drinking. They're passed out. So we'll say Angelica and Jess, you know? Okay, ready. One. Oh, dude, can you just tone it down? I know you're a singer, but come on, relax. For me.
Why is my neck dark?
Well, thank you
Oh
so
my-
much for the follow. Appreciate y'all. Okay, ready. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
We can't try to match each other. You just gotta go, and I'll follow you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday, dear Angelica and
dear-
Jess.
Woo!
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you. Alright, remix. Go. Andy, go. Hit him with the...
Wait, no, you gotta sing it though.
No, we're not rapping. Oh,
Birthday.
damn.
Hey.
This is the guest on the podcast. That was spicy. Hey, we need your throat. I mean, your
What?
We need your voice for the rest of this podcast. Oh god, I'm dead. All right, let me do the pull-ups for you guys. Oh shit. Welcome in everyone though. Oh god, you guys got me dead right now. Okay, seriously, guys, stop with the hype train. Chill, okay? Let me do my pull-ups. This is for Nathan. Nathan did it. Okay, thank you so much, Jess. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Real quick, real quick. All right, Andy's gonna be doing push-ups while I do this.
Can you hear me?
Right?
Ooh. Wait. Hey. This one's for you, Obama. Here I go. Hey. Wait, I can't even do one push-up, bro. Wait, hold up. Hold up. Easy. I'm out here. I make that money.
That was for Nathan. Thank you, Nathan. Woo! I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you. Turtle, welcome in. Hope all is well. What's up? What's up? Woo! But yes, big happy birthdays. Good
Bert,
stuff, Andy.
you were born several years ago today. That's exciting.
Oh, by the way, everyone, this is all going on YouTube, so
Ah!
check out. Okay, I guess we could continue. We're talking
Oops.
about Andy's significant others and crushes, by the way, so tune in to this podcast for some juicy deets. And also, be sure to follow Andy because he's a fellow streamer, exclamation guest, to get to his channel on Twitch. Let's go.
Yeah. Cool.
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year, I got my first girlfriend. Things were cool. We were on and off. She was a year younger than me, as I mentioned before. Not really much to say about that relationship. That was when I got my first kiss and all that stuff. Yeah.
Wait,
I
so
was really nervous.
how'd you meet?
Band. She was also in band.
Ooh.
Yeah, band is where all the baddies are. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she was a band. She was a clarinet. So a fellow woodwind. Yeah, we were on and off through high school. She had another boyfriend while we were off, and then I got really jealous. So I was like, "I want you back," and she was like, "Yeah."
Oh.
My problem in high school was that I was scared of relationships because I didn't know how to do one. And oh god, I had such a toxic mindset. My mindset was that I was like, I'm so young. Why I can be in all these relationships. Should I really just stay in this one? Like, what if I meet another girl? Which was a very bad mindset to have. And very toxic. So I don't think like that anymore, just so we're clear. But yeah, that's part of the reason we were on and off, because I was so scared of like committing. And yeah, we ended up breaking up for realsies in 2019. We met in 2014, broke up for realsies in 2019. So that's a pretty long time, I'd say.
Wait, you're in a relationship for 5 years?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It stopped being on and off probably around 2017. 2016, 2017 or so. That's when we started kind of stabilizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then my next ex was the girl from my workplace. Oh, yeah. So we worked together at Target. The ex I'm going to talk about now. We worked together at Target, and then we worked together at Knott's. So that's
Got
fun.
it. 2 jobs together.
Because we met at the Target job, and then I helped her get a job at Knott's because she wanted to work there. So because she was also seasonal, so she also got her contract also expired. so she needed to look for a job too. Um, so yeah, that relationship it was okay, honestly. It was pretty standard relationship. Didn't feel like a very deep relationship though. Like it was very like I don't know how to describe it, but it didn't feel very deep at all. Like it didn't feel as mushy and emotional as the previous one, if that makes sense. But it
Okay.
was still technically a relationship. Um,
But met through Target.
yeah.
Hmm.
Specifically, how we met was she was a cashier, and she signed up to take somebody's shift, but the shift was for like clothes. Um, but she didn't know how to do clothes, so my boss walked up with her next to him and was like, "Yo, she doesn't know how to do soft lines, but she signed up for a shift. So can you help her out? Can you teach her?" And I was like, "Sure." Then I looked at her and I was like, "Oh, she's pretty." Um, then we just kind of started vibing that shift. She was basically just watching me do stuff, while she also kind of helped here and there. Then we started. This is still at Target, so um, yeah. So we started like talking a little bit more. We played a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops, and keep in mind, Black Ops was not even remotely close to being the most recent COD game at the time, because this was in about 2019. Uh,
Got it.
but we just wanted to play COD Black Ops because she only had a PS3.
Hmm.
So, and this is when the PS4 was already out. So I got my old PS3 and I was like, all right, let's play Black Ops. I think I still have it somewhere, and I did. So we ended up playing it. COD date, yeah, it was they were basically COD dates, honestly. Um,
Yeah.
we would be on the same team. I would kick ass because it was really easy for me to do well in that game for some reason. Black Ops One, by the way, so original. Uh, I just did really well. I think it's because she really liked playing zombies. I don't remember, man, but I think it's because she really liked playing zombies, and then I convinced her to play multiplayer, which she was not as good at, but I was really good at. So that's kind of how we started connecting. Then we stayed friends for a while, because we stayed friends. Nothing really happened for a little bit. Then we finally got together in 2020. No, 2019. Sorry, 2019. We got and we were together for about a year. Um, I eventually, towards the end of that relationship, found out that she had been seeing a different guy for about 6 months of the 12 months that we were together. At least 6 months.
What the
Um,
hell? Hmm.
so the way I found out was because she kept saying stuff like, "Oh, you know, uh, my dad took my phone. I can't text you. I'm sorry. I'll try to get it back tomorrow." Stuff like that. And I was like, "That's weird. She's like the same age as me, and her dad still takes her phone." I don't know, but I didn't really think much of it because I was like, maybe she just has a really strict dad.
Yeah.
Then I like messaged her on Discord. This was right before the pandemic hit, by the way. And at this point, we still work at the same place and we go to the same school.
Hmm.
Um, so this was right before the pandemic, right before everything's about to shut down. So including our work and school. So and also right before spring break, technically. Um, so I message her on Discord. But before I message her, I see her profile picture and it's like her and a dude. And I'm like, who's this dude? Maybe it's her cousin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gave her the benefit of the doubt because I wanted to be optimistic. I was too focused on the idea of, this is my girlfriend. I should trust her and love her, right?
Uh huh.
So I asked her. I was like, "Hey, yo, uh, we're not doing anything for the next few weeks. Well, let's go on a date soon." And she was like, "I'm feeling sick." And I was like, "Okay. Do you want me to bring you anything?" She was like, "Nah, I'm good." And I was like, "Okay. Well, if you're feeling better, do you want to go on a date?" at some point because we have at least a week or two of spring break, right? And then she was like, yeah, I think we should just be friends. And I was like, we've been dating for a year. What are you talking about? What are you saying, bro? Um, that so yeah. Then that's when I decided to do my research.
Mm-hmm.
So I left a couple details out, but they're not really important. So um, then I started doing my research. There was a game she made me download. She made me download COD Mobile for to play together. And on that game, little fun fact: if you play the battle royale mode, you can check someone's match history if you're friends with them. So what I did was I checked her match history. She's been playing this game daily, bro. On the days when she said she didn't have her phone, she's been playing this game, game after game after game, whatever. So just all these COD battle royales. So I'm like, I wonder if I can check who her teammates were. You can. I check. Her name on the game was Just, and then like her nickname. So it
Mm-hmm.
was Just, name, and then there was someone else on her team consistently, and that name was also Just, and then some other name that I couldn't tell what it was. It was also a nickname, so I couldn't tell if it was a guy or a girl or whatever. So what I did was also a fun little detail is that a few months before this, she removed me from her followers on Instagram because she said that she couldn't trust me to be a follower, and I was like, that sounds sus as hell. So, but I didn't think much of it because I was like, well, maybe I need to fix myself. Maybe I need to earn her trust back. But it was really just because she was posting about her boyfriend at the time. Um, so I know that you can't. She was a private account, so I know you can't look at private posts without following them. But I knew you could check comments that they made. So I googled her Instagram name, and I found like comments she'd been making and like tagging people on like dog posts, baby posts, whatever. And I found that same name that I saw on COD Mobile that she's been tagging this person. So I'm like, ooh, let me look that person up. And please be a public page so I can see the truth. I look it up, it's a public page. I check the most recent picture, it's them literally cuddling. And I'm like, oh, there's the proof, baby. The proof is right there. And then, oh man, it was a satisfying feeling to know I was right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then I confronted her, kinda. For a while I was still like, is there something I can do? Can I change? Because I'm just that kind of guy, I guess. Um, and then she was just like, no, this just mean we just need to make sure this is something we both want, blah blah blah, before we can really be in a relationship. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. We've been in a relationship for a year. Um,
Was this in
then at
person?
that, no, this is over Discord.
Okay.
um, then I finally just message her and I just go, is there someone else? Because I wanted to give her a chance to redeem herself. I was gonna do the same thing either way. I was gonna drop her because I knew the truth, but I just wanted to give her a chance. And then she said, nope. I've had multiple guys come up to me and I've always said no. And I just want to make sure that this is what you want to do. And then I just sent her a screenshot and the pictures and the comments that she left on his page. And I sent that to her on Discord. And I was like, do you want to change your answer? And then she was like, okay, fine. There is somebody else, blah, blah, blah. He treated me so well. He was there for me when you weren't, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, peace. So then I just blocked her. That was it.
Try to
Um,
turn it on you.
I know. She said it was my fault. That's crazy. That's wild. Jesus. Yeah. And then a couple of other things happened after that. She messaged me a couple times. She like texted me and was like, I should have said this to you a few months ago. I'm so sorry. But in her apology, she still kind of blamed me. She was like, I'm sorry. I do love you, but I don't know if you feel the same way. But I do care about you. But he treats me so well. And I'm like, stop saying but, dude. Just say sorry. Frick. That would make me feel so much better if she just said sorry. But she was also saying like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you or something like that. I'm like, you're not sorry for doing it? What? That's stupid, bro. Also another thing that kind of tipped me off about it was that they had a TikTok posted together from about September, which is around her birthday, and she said that One of the reasons that she was with him was because that he was there for her on her birthday. But I literally worked on my birthday, or on her birthday. I was working, and she knew that. And then she went there 2 knots on her birthday with the guy, and I've now put that together. Um, and she also was like, because I said, "Oh, do you want to do something after my shift?" And she said, "Oh, after your shift, I'm hanging out with a friend. You can come with us if you want." And I was like, "I'm not gonna hang out with you and your friend. That's you and your friend's private time. Like, I don't know the friend, and the friend doesn't know me, so that's kind of a dick move if I'm just like, hey, you know." Um, so that's that. She texted me on my birthday and then was like, "Hey, I know you hate me, but happy birthday." And I was like, "Wait, I didn't block your number yet." So then I blocked her. Um,
Oh
so
shit.
that's the end of that. I don't know what she's doing now. She also lives like 2 minutes from my house.
Mm-hmm.
I could drive to her house if I wanted to. I think last thing I checked was that I think they're broken up now, but I'm not sure. Um, but I just want her to be unhappy.
Yeah. Wow. What a story for the second one.
Yeah. Oh, there's a third one, I guess technically.
Well, before
Um,
we get to the third one, can you remind me like how the first one started falling out? Cause
we just realized we were different people. Like we were in
okay,
love with who we were, not who we were becoming.
I see.
Um, she was kind of becoming more outgoing. She was becoming more of a party person,
Mm-hmm.
um, getting into certain activities that I won't divulge. But
Yeah,
um, I was much more reserved. I wanted to spend more time just doing whatever. How our time together was great, but how we spent our own time was very different. And
yeah, I see.
how she spent her free time kind of made me uncomfortable, and it just that made her upset. So we just realized, like, you know, we still care about each other. We're still friends. Oh, frick! Yesterday was her birthday. I forgot to text her. I'll text her after this.
Yeah.
Uh,
You guys mutually just ended it then?
yeah, it was pretty mutual at that point. Um,
This is her whole high school life, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay.
yeah. She has a boyfriend now, so that's great. I'm really happy for her because I was a very toxic boyfriend looking back on it. So I'm very happy she found someone
Mm-hmm.
that makes her happy. As for my other ex, I hope she dies alone. Um, yeah. And then the third. Oh, did you want to talk about something else before I move to the third?
No, I mean that kind of sums it up. I just wanted a better understanding because it is pretty long, and then yeah, then you went through the
Yeah,
second one, and that was shitty. So go ahead.
yeah. The first girl and I, we're still homies for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a period where we kind of weren't, but we're good now. We're good.
Yeah.
Like I could probably just text her and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And she'd be like, "Yo." We don't talk daily, but we can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
it's that kind of thing. So the third one was pretty recent. Um, it's not as long of a story because it only lasted a few months. Because
Okay.
it was a long distance thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
leaving that with that. So I basically, I can't give too many details honestly because I really do want to protect this girl's privacy, and I don't. And she, yeah, I don't. I got to be careful about what I say because if I say
Yes.
too much, it might reveal who it is.
Okay.
Um, so basically, I met this girl uh, through. I'll just say I met her through Discord.
Okay.
Technically, I didn't, but we'll just say that because it's close to the truth. I met her through Discord. We ended up bonding by playing a lot of video games together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that kind of leads into the whole thing of why I said I played League a lot recently. But it wasn't because I liked League. It was because she liked League. So
Bonding.
I was like,
Yes.
I'll get back into it, and we'll see how it goes. We played a lot of ranks together. Um, and it was a strictly online long distance thing.
Mm-hmm.
She lives a few states away, so not as far as some other people I've had, not necessarily relationships, but interactions with, let's say.
Okay.
Um, Not as far as them, but she's still a little bit of a plane right away. So
Mm-hmm.
um, we started playing a lot of video games together. We started spending a lot of time together. You know, we would call every night, that kind of thing. It was a very nice relationship, honestly. While I was in it, um, it's tough to talk about because it ended kind of recently. Technically, it ended maybe, oh, I guess not that recently. Maybe a little less than 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, we kept saying we were gonna make plans to like see each other. Like one of us would go to the other state, or you know, she would come to mine. That whole thing. We kept making plans, but nothing ever ended up happening because we were either just too busy, or we didn't have the money, or didn't have the time, or whatever
Yeah.
reasons. So at a certain point, about 3 months ago, things started to feel a little different. So I asked her about it after a few weeks of, you know, kind of feeling like I was getting a bit of a cold shoulder. Um, I was like, "Is everything cool?" And then she basically just said she was like losing feelings,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, I wasn't heartbroken about this one necessarily as much as I might have been as heartbroken as about the first one, because I know I said the first one was mutual, but you know, breakups still suck.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, you know, I was still pretty emotional about it. But this last one, the third one, um, what's it called? I never really thought we were gonna get married or anything. You know, I never like when we first met. She actually said that like I wasn't exactly her type, uh, which has been said to me before,
Okay.
by a couple of girls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I never take it personally. You know, your type is your type. You can have preferences. Who cares? Um, you know, as long as you're not being weird about it.
Yeah.
And then so, but then we kind of started talking differently towards each other. This is in the beginning. We started talking differently, and then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh God, are we in a relationship now? And then at one point, she like said she told a story about, or she was telling me a story about how at work, someone was trying to set her up with their son. Like a customer was trying to set her up with their son,
Yeah.
and then she was like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend. Sorry." And I was like, "Are you talking about me? Am I the boyfriend?" Like, I thought we weren't going to be in a relationship because we agreed that the distance was tough. So you know, relationship was kind of going to be tough. And she was like, "Oh, I mean, I just said that." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'd like you to be my boyfriend." And I was like, "Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I am scared because the distance, and it makes me feel like this might not have a good chance if we're so far away. We would have to try really hard." And she said, "Yeah, I get it." And then eventually I was just like, "No, you know what? Let's just do it." And she was like, "Cool." So she kind of dragged me into that one. And then she pushed me away. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, she just kind of said she was losing feelings. We were both pretty emotional that night. Um, we were both, you know, there were tears being shed. This was over the phone, um, because you know obviously I can't go see her, but there were tears being shed. You know, we were being sad. Um, then we kind of, that night was like our last night of like, let's just pretend to be a couple for one more night, and then tomorrow we'll be done. And then we were like, okay. So you know, we talked that whole night, and then when I woke up, it was basically over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think she has a boyfriend now, so you know, good for her. She actually did end up, we actually did end up hanging out in person, so that was cool.
Like before that, of course.
No, after that,
Oh. Okay.
it was in a friend group, so
I
through
see. I see.
many mutual friends. We've made many mutual friends, and by
Mm-hmm.
that I mean I introduced her to one of my friends, and now they are very good friends.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no more contact, or is it just from time to time?
No, we still have contact. Yeah, I mean, she's I popped into her stream the other day and I said hi. So that's, you know, we still talk. I think we said we were gonna play something soon, so maybe Valorant. I don't know. Yeah.
Got it. So that sums up all the relationships and stories, right?
Uh, I mean, there are other stories about girls in relationships, but those are like the major ones I can think of. There's
Mhm.
one other one that pops into my head right now, but that one's a little weird.
Mhm.
Kind of a long story. I can give you the summary of it so that I don't take up too much time. But
Yeah, go for
uh,
it. I don't mind.
yeah,
Just do your thing.
I'll give you a breakdown. So
Mhm.
I met this girl on a dating app, and I put air quotes around it because they don't advertise themselves as a dating app. They advertise themselves as a place to meet or friends. Yeah. So and also dates, but she was looking for friends.
Mhm.
So she invited me to her Minecraft server, which is a great way to start a weird relationship story. She invited me to her Minecraft server. We started playing a lot, talking a lot. Same kind of situation as the actual X. This is before the last X, by the way. This was like late last year, and my last X started in like February or March of this year. So like around October, November ish, maybe November ish. That's when I met this girl.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so this girl was October to around January, and then my ex was like March to August.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, cool. So basically, we started playing Minecraft a lot, blah 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 blah. She caught feelings for me as I was catching feelings for her, but she was kind of the first one to admit it. Uh, yeah, then things kind of started escalating from there. Uh, we started acting more like a couple, especially in the Discord server she invited me to, like with her friends and stuff.
Yeah.
We started acting more like a couple. No one really said anything about it. But then one night, as I was talking to her friends when she wasn't there, she was busy doing something, but I became friends with them, so I started talking with them. They like brought up that she was like engaged, and I was like, huh?
Mhm.
So I end up like kind of freaking out because I'm like, you're wrong. Oh, I left something out. She mentioned to me before that she was in a complicated relationship with her ex, but she said ex. So I was like, so that's done, right? You
Mhm.
you guys aren't together? And she was like, technically no. And I was like, what do you mean technically? Like, not that hard. Just answer it. And we came to the conclusion that she can't completely cut off the X because reasons that she wouldn't explain. So I was like, but I was too busy thinking like, man, this is a pretty girl and she likes me. Wow, I should just ignore everything that's being.
The red flags.
Yeah, dude,
Mhm.
I am so blind to red flags. It's insane. It's crazy how blind I am.
Mhm.
It's like I have like color blindness or something. I just think it's a flag. Like whatever. Anyway, then I found out that she her friend messaged her. She got mad. She messaged me and was like, "Stop talking about me while I'm not there." And I was like, "What?" I was like, eh. So basically, how this wraps up is I found out she was engaged, like she was, and then now she's not. Um, then I found out that she has a child that is technically her brother because her mom adopted her child because she couldn't take care of it. So her mom adopted her son.
Yeah.
So her son is also her brother legally.
Uh-huh.
Um, I haven't said any names, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Just
You're doing good.
yeah. Then I found out that she technically was still with him, the guy that she was talking about, and I found out that they were, I think, like I don't know, man. Then I got a death threat from the guy that was like, "Stop talking to her, I'll kill you." I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even talk to her anymore. This was months after we stopped talking.
Mhm.
Um, so that happened. Then I found out another detail that's a little too graphic to mention. Um, let's just say I gotta keep it as friendly as possible. Before I knew her, she had a job that is a bit more out there than most jobs.
Hmm.
I won't get more specific than that, but just use your imagination. Um, so
Yep.
after I found all that stuff out, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, man. It's too complicated. I need something simple, bro. Get me out. So I just told her that. I was like, I don't think I can do this. She was like, yeah, I understand.
Hmm.
So that was it. Now I think that's the real, like, oh, and so one of the reasons that my last ex and I bonded so much at the start is because I was still kind of going through all the complications of that last girl, the other girl.
Yeah.
Uh, and my ex was going through some complications because she ended things with another guy, and she was really sad. So we were both really sad about ending things with someone. So we kind of connected through that by talking about it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Understood.
I think that should pretty much cover it for the most part in terms of like anything serious. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Now you're just doing you, focusing on yourself.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I never focus on myself. I mean, I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of going with the flow. Like,
Hmm.
I've hit a point in my life where I just kind of think, I don't think I'm ready for a relationship. Keyword being relationship.
Yeah.
I like anything else. Who knows? Maybe. But I don't think I'll be ready for another serious relationship unless I like get my own stuff together first and then I meet the right person.
Yeah.
But right now, I really don't have like, and it wouldn't be fair to my partner if I did end up getting in a relationship right now because I just don't have the time to really put myself into one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, it's just not fair. So,
Okay.
uh, yeah.
Guess that sums up the relationships and heartbreaks. I guess we could talk briefly on more social aspects, or at least finish it off. Did you ever go through a party phase or a really like heavy, I don't know, drinking phase, raving, I don't know, just social life stuff?
Um, no, I've been a pretty reserved guy socially. Like if I don't seek social interaction, but if I'm put into one, I feel like I can kind of keep my own, right? Like I can keep up,
Yeah.
um, and I do pretty well for myself. But I
Hmm.
don't actively seek out social interactions, or at least back then I did. Uh, I never really went through a party phase. I've never been to a club. I've never like gone out drinking at a bar.
Okay.
Um, I didn't have my first drink. Like literally did not have my first drink until I was 21, because I was like such a goody two shoes that I just wanted my 21st birthday to feel special and stuff like that. And I was like,
Yes.
what if someone catches me? I mean, I had like a sip of wine when I was like 12,
Hmm.
but that was just because my sister was like, do you want to try it? And we were in another country. My sister was like, you want to try some? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I tried it and I was like, that's disgusting. It was white wine and I hated it. Um, then again on Thanksgiving in like 2016, so I was 16 at the time, or 17, I think. And she was like, "You want to try this red wine?" And I said, "Sure." And I said, "Okay, that tastes a little better. It tastes like juice. It tastes like cranberry juice almost." Then I didn't have my first full drink until 21, so I was very much like, I didn't go through party phases. I've never been like a rave guy. I've only been to like a handful of concerts in my life.
Hmm.
Most of my free time is honestly just spent like right here, just kind of sitting in my chair doing whatever.
For sure.
Um, Recently, I've kind of started to try to branch out a little bit more, uh, especially now that I'm like working again. Especially now because I have a little more free time. Also because I have a nicer car, not a nice car, just a nicer car than I used to have. I used to drive a Honda Fit. Now I drive a Honda Civic.
Hmm.
So a little
Cool.
bit of an upgrade in my eyes because I like the way Civics look.
Hmm.
Uh, so now I feel a little more comfortable driving out and going places. I might just drive to like get boba or something every now and then. Um, But other than that, I've been kind of a couch potato.
For
Um,
sure.
that's also because that's kind of just how my parents lived. Uh,
Hmm.
after they had a family, of course. Before that, I don't know. They were doing whatever they wanted. They got into some crazy stuff. But after that, since I've been alive, they've kind of just been the type of people to not really go out a lot unless it was with family. And that's kind of how I still am. I don't really go out often unless it's with family. But, you know, I try my best to hang out with friends as much as I can. But whenever we do hang out, it's either just let's go get something to eat at a restaurant or let's get boba. That's it, pretty much. Every now and then we'll throw in some like fun activities. Maybe we'll play Smash Brothers, but it's all very much contained. I'm very contained, like in that aspect.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Before we move on, we'll probably just take like a 2 minute break. I'm gonna use the restroom
Cool.
for sure. For sure. Nom, by the way, it's like a Logitech C922X, I think. I think. But I recently just. Oh, wait. I put the X in the wrong place, but yeah. I think that's what it's called. But then. I just got, like, new lights, so I totally forgot to put it on before we started this. So I did that. Alright, Andy, entertain the crowd. I'll be right back.
Oh god. Okay.
No pressure, it's not even bad. You're chilling, you're chilling.
So, what do you guys really think about Wilson? I personally think he's a great guy, but don't tell him I said that. Okay, guys, here's what we should, guys, oh my god, we should pull a prank. Okay, what we're gonna do is when he comes back, you guys are gonna spam something, but I don't know what we should spam. We're gonna spam a random emote that I can find, okay? When he comes back, just start spamming it with no context. And if you have to change the message a bit to get rid of the repetition filter, then do it. Okay, I'm gonna find out which emote we're gonna do. All right, we're just gonna lol at him, okay? When he comes back, just start spamming lol, okay? Just have it ready. Have a couple versions ready, because you might have to delete the emote every now and like maybe once or twice. Because if you send the same message too many times, I think it like gets mad at you. So we're gonna start spamming it, okay? Done. Yeah, we agree. I don't want to be the only one doing it, guys. I'm gonna look stupid. Excuse me. No, we're not talking about him behind his back. I was just kidding. I would never talk about someone behind their back. Except I guess I did. But I said good things. You're not telling anybody, Vice. You're not gonna tell. Because I didn't say anything. Also, guys, what do you think about my mustache? Oh, here he is.
Hey guys, I'm back. I see that something happened. Anyways, as we continue on this podcast, keep in mind that you guys can use exclamation guest. Drop Andy a follow if you haven't already.
That's me.
All right, who's snitching? Who's gonna snitch? Yo, message
What do
me
you
on Discord.
We were just sitting here talking about what a great guy you were.
Ah, so I was the topic. I didn't even think that whatsoever.
No,
Okay.
it was just a passing mention.
Mhm.
It was like, man, Wilson's a cool guy. Anyway, let's talk, guys. It was like as soon as you left, I was just like, man, Wilson's a great guy. And then you left, and then we started talking about other stuff. We
Ah,
actually really connected, honestly.
wait a second. Rice? Interesting. All right, all right.
I didn't say that. That's cat.
Oh shit. Good to know. Anyways, I guess we're gonna have to continue. So yeah, we're good with the party life, right? And social aspects.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks guys for snitching. Appreciate y'all. Anyways, let's go. Let's talk about streaming. More recent stuff. You said you started about 3 months ago. How did you hear about Twitch, and what made you get into it?
I've actually been watching Twitch for many years now. Since I was like, so I've been watching Twitch since it was called like Justin.tv. Like that, I think that's what it used to be called. Um, because there was this one group of guys. This kind of connects to the whole wrestling thing actually, because there was this group of guys that I found on YouTube who played wrestling video games, and they like it was so funny to watch them play it because they would like glitch the game, they would do funny stuff, and they streamed their games live on Twitch, or at the time it was Justin.tv. So I started watching that. That's how I was introduced to the idea of streaming in general, because they would just stream on here. Um, I think the first like big streamers that I followed were a lot of League streamers, like Dyrus, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Cutie Pie, Tobias Fate, Gosu, those kind of guys. They were the ones I
Yeah.
really followed a lot early. Fun fact: I actually found out about Pokimane uh, through Dyrus, because Dyrus was at Buffalo Wild Wings and he was IRL streaming, and Pokimane was just like there. And then she was like, "Guys, follow me on this," and I was like, "Okay." And I think at the time her YouTube had like 300,000 subs, and it's crazy to see now because like I don't even want to like be like I found Pokemon before she was cool, blah 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 blah, because I wasn't a super fan of hers. I just followed her,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I didn't like watch her religiously. Uh, but I don't know. It's That's pretty much kind of how I started to get into it more. Then I found out about like Disguised Toast. He was really I love that guy because I had a Hearthstone phase, so he's kind of how I got into that part.
Got
Then
it.
I found out about like Valkyrae. Uh, I think this was before she started streaming on YouTube. Because now she has like a deal with you, whatever. But she used to stream on Twitch, I'm pretty sure. And that I found out about that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then the reason I actually started streaming is because I've always wanted to do it. Like I thought it was such a cool idea to be able to play video games and talk to people, and have like a chat and interact with people. I really like, as much as I say I'm like a contained guy, I really do like social interaction, especially Twitch social interaction, because it's just so great getting to meet new people. And it's also great seeing the same people come back to your stream, like recognizing names.
Big
Like,
facts.
yeah. So my last ex is actually the person who got me back into streaming. So
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to be a streamer. And I told her that I also kind of wanted to be a streamer, and she said, "You should just go for it." So I did. Um, I just started kind of going into it. I finally got a decent PC. I finally got two monitors. Um, that was another thing that was kind of keeping me from streaming for a while, was my bad setup. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just had a scuffed monitor, terrible graphics card. I still have not a great graphics card, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
This pre-built is from, I think, 2018. It's a pre-built that I bought from Best Buy. So I need to upgrade this bad boy soon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now I have two nice monitors that my sister's fiance gave me. They're very nice. Um, so that's another reason that kind of pushed me into streaming. I didn't know what game I wanted to stream for a while either. I was like, I'm not really good at games.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Like in League, I peaked at like gold 4, which is like the bottom of gold. And if in my mind, the way I thought was, if you want to be a streamer, you should either be good, or you should be like really funny or entertaining, or just that was my mindset. So I kept thinking, well, I don't know if I can start streaming because I'm not really that good yet. Maybe I should try to get better, then I'll start streaming. Because I didn't really have confidence in me being funny either. So finally, when my ex kind of, or my girlfriend at the time started pushing me to get into it, I was like, yeah, I guess I should get into it now. Now is a great time to do it. Um, which is half true and half false. I mean, uh, but we can talk about that later. It's just like, yeah, that's kind of what got me into streaming. My first stream, technically, was just a test stream
Mm-hmm.
of me playing TFT because I really like team. If for those of you who don't know, TFT is Team Fight Tactic. It's based on League. It's auto chess. Um, I streamed that, and I was just testing it out to see if I knew the format, if I knew where to put my camera, stuff like that, where to move things on the screen. Um, then I was like, you know what? I'll just stream Valorant because it's the game I play the most. So I'll just stream what I like to play. And I never thought anything would come of it. I think what helped was that I kind of made some connections before I started streaming.
Yeah.
Uh, the friend that I mentioned that uh, is now friends with my ex, like, and now they're kind of mutual friend group, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that friend is actually a streamer as well, and she's pretty popular at this point. I think she has a couple thousand followers.
Wow.
Um, so her and I are friends. I would talk to her in her chat, and a couple people followed me before I even started streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So because I kept saying how I wanted to start streaming, and my ex would also say the same thing, um, like how she would want to start streaming. So we both kind of started making connections before our first stream. So that was doing that made it so that I was thankfully not just streaming to like bots on my first one.
Mm-hmm.
I also made sure I like if I was in a Discord server for a big streamer and they had a section for self promo, I like dropped the link in every single Discord server that I was in,
Yeah.
where it's just like, guys, I'm streaming Valorant, come join in. I think that's how I met Lexi, because I think I posted it in Quarter Jade's Discord, and Lexi like clicked on it, I think, and she said she was like, "Oh, hi, I'm from Quarter Jade's Discord. I saw your thing," and now she's
Wow.
such a homie. I love her. She's great. Um, but yeah, that is what got me into streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and so far it's been pretty cool. I've been pretty blessed to have some regulars in my chat every stream. So
Yeah.
sometimes it dies down, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
So that's the streaming gig. Okay, speaking of, well, since you recently started, do you know who's your oldest follower that's pretty consistent still?
It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to keep it outside of my real life friend group because
Yeah.
that doesn't really count. Um, my oldest follower that's been very consistent. Honestly, it might be Lexi. She's
Nice.
there. She's there almost every time. And if she's not there, she like rushes in at the end and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm late." I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"It's fine. You're just here, and I love you for that." But Lexi is one of them. I have another one named Jesse. He's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's also there a lot. They're both VIPs in my chat because I just wanted to recognize them for being such great people.
Yeah.
And for being OGs, basically. Um, those are the two main ones, I'd say. Lexi and Jesse.
Do you guys
Those are
play games with each other and like? Oh, it's just
It's because I play a lot of Valorant and Lexi can't really play any PC games because she doesn't have a PC.
got it.
Or-
Got it.
PC. Jesse and I met because I plugged my stream
Mm-hmm.
in a game in all chat, and he was on the enemy team, and he joined my stream, and now he's like there every time.
Insane.
And I'm like, that's crazy that you were on the enemy team and you're still here all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I beat him.
Okay.
So I mean, I was like, dude, if someone put their Twitch in my all chat from the enemy team after they beat me, I would not click on that. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you, man. You just beat me. But I mean, that was back when I first started. Nowadays, I click on any link that they post if they're streaming because I'm like, I want to see what they're about. uh, yeah, now Lexi and Jesse are friends. They, like every time they see each other, they get so excited, and that makes me very happy. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
yeah,
That's actually crazy. The power of self promoting in other people's discords and stuff.
yeah.
That wow, I've never utilized that. That's actually amazing to learn from your experience.
It's honestly a hit or miss kind of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I'm so happy that Lexi found it, but I think sometimes, especially in popular streamers chats,
Yeah.
like J Masayoshi, maybe Pokimane, people like that who have really big discords.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes doing self promo, the message can just kind of, you know, just disappear at some
Just
points because
another person. Yeah.
yeah, it's just another dude promoting his Twitch. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, I've been able to make some streamer friends just through like recommended streams on Twitch, or just people like mutual or like a friend recommending me to them,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is insane.
Yeah.
I have a friend. Her name's Shani. She's a streamer. Her name's Oop Shani on Twitch. Um, I met her because my my streamer friend has a friend who watches Shani, and he told her to raid me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I met Shani. She's an amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how I met her. I've met a lot of who else have I met through streaming? Oh, I met my friend Ari through my other friend Allie, who I met from recommended, and it's just oh god, the paths that the branches that Twitch can take you on, and
Yeah.
the mutuals that you can make, and it's just so wild. Like it's crazy to think about. I don't know, man. It's just crazy. What was the question?
Um, I think you kind of just went on with like your Twitch experience, right? Right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Move on.
Was
Move on.
there?
Move on.
Did I? Okay, cool.
Specific. Well, actually, that was from oldest follower. Yeah.
Oh,
And then you
that was
talked
all
about.
from oldest
Yeah,
follower.
yeah. Because then you mentioned Lexi and Jesse, and then
Oh,
it went from there.
yeah, because you mentioned the self promo thing, and then I started
Yeah.
talking about how I met people through that. So,
Speaking of streaming, do you have your personal favorite stream so far?
Valkyrie.
Most memorable? No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
oh, you.
I meant your own stream.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh man, sorry, I kind of jumped the gun there.
Yep.
It might be the stream where I hit 100 followers. Which does not sound like a lot, but to
Hey,
me,
that's a
that's a lot.
milestone, man.
That's a huge milestone. I don't remember. I think I know. The only reason I remember, or I don't remember the date off the top of my head of when it happened, but if
Mm-hmm.
I want to check it, I can because someone clipped it. So
Oh,
um,
cool.
they clipped my 100th follower, and that was cool. It was cool because it was really late at night. Um, I told my friend that I was at like 95 followers,
Mm-hmm.
and she has a bit more of a following. It's Shani, the friend I was talking about. She has a
Yeah.
bit more of a following than me. I think she has like 1.5k. She posted in her Discord. She added everybody, and she was like, "Guys, get in here! Get like, go, blah blah blah." And when I saw all these people coming in, names that I knew but had never been in my stream before,
Yeah.
I just was like, I was so flattered and so touched because there were just all these people coming to try and help me.
Mm-hmm.
Like streamers that I loved watching, like from these friend groups, they were coming into my stream and like saying nice things, and they were dropping follows, and they were advertising in their Discord, and I was like, wow.
That's what's up.
My Valorant games themselves did not go well, but but I don't even care about that part. I just care about how amazingly kind everyone was that day. I also met a couple of people. I don't know how they found me, but there are a couple of people now who have become regulars in my chat. Their names are I think their names are Emma and Val. They were with me the whole stream basically, and they were like getting so excited for me. Lexi was there, I'm pretty sure. I think Jesse was there. All these people were just there being so excited and being like, we need this many more, we need 3 more, we need 2 more, guys, we can do it. And I was just like, I was freaking out because I did not ever in my wildest dreams think I would ever even get to this point. I didn't even think
Yes.
I'd hit like 50 followers. I didn't think, because I mean, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
that stream has a special place in my heart. I remember what map I was playing when it hit 100 followers. I was playing Breeze, and I think I was playing Sky. um, Weird details to remember, but
It's
I
all
just
good, man.
remember I heard the follow sound go off, um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so cool because I really like my follow sound. Um, I Yeah, and it was just so cool to hear it go off so often. Either that stream or a stream where my streamer friend rated me,
Mm-hmm.
because she rated me with like 40 people, and I was like,
Ooh.
oh my god, I can't. I'm stressed. What? How? How do I entertain this many people? And it was just, that was a cool time too. Because at that before that, I think I've maxed out at like 12, um, and I averaged like 5 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still average maybe around 6 or 5. Um, but that moment was wild because I was just playing Valorant, and I didn't even realize she was streaming at the time, and she
Yeah.
rated me, and I was like, that's, I love you, like that kind of thing.
That's beautiful,
So those
man.
those two streams are the ones that hit hard. Just those moments where I really felt like it was starting to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So you said pay off. So do you want to elaborate on that? Your full
Um.
thoughts about Twitch and your experience?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's like any other job, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, some people might look at it and think it's really easy, and
Yeah.
just be like, "Well, you're just playing video game. You're just showing yourself on a camera. What's the?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. It's How is that hard?" But there are the moments that hit the hardest with me, like that. Like, I definitely have had moments where I hit like a kind of a sadness. Um, all right, good night, Jinx. Thanks for hanging out. Go get your rest. Go have a good night.
Appreciate you, Evelyn. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have, I'll remember that, Evelyn. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did.
It,
Um,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, there's like, I'm still pretty small. Like, to be completely honest, I'm still a very small streamer. I think I have like 130, 140 followers right now, something around there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know the exact number, but I stream at weird hours. Um, so there were a couple times where I was looking at OBS or Streamlabs or whatever,
Yeah.
and I just saw I was streaming for like one viewer, and
Mm-hmm.
I checked the viewer list, and I'm pretty sure it's a bot. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
basically streaming for nobody. Um, that can kind of mess with you sometimes. Like,
Yeah. Keeping it real. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the idea of like, yeah, I'm streaming and I'm using this. I'm trying to stay energetic and stay happy and keep this character up. Or, I guess not really a character, but definitely certain parts of me are amplified when I'm streaming.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot. I can be a lot more happy. I don't pretend to be things I'm not. I just get a little more excited about things that I might, or I might be a little more dramatic if I think it'll be funny, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you're if you're streaming and nobody's watching, you know, I've definitely had moments where I was like, well, should I just end stream? Should I just click end and then just dip? Will anyone even care if I leave right now?
Yeah.
And also those early moments where I was at like 50 followers, but a lot of them were people that just kind of followed and never really watched.
Mm-hmm.
But now those streams where I had a bunch of people in my chat, talking to each other, not only to just me but to each other, which by the way is just an amazing thing when your viewers talk to each other. I love that.
It hits
it,
different.
such, it, it gives me such a dopamine rush.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yes, dude, they're interacting with each other. But then I feel like, should I read the messages? or nah? Because they're having their own conversation. Maybe I should just stay out of it. Maybe I'll just kind of keep doing what I'm doing and then only talk when I'm being addressed.
Uh-huh.
But having those two streams that I can remember, um, where there was just so many people talking and being excited and interacting with me,
Mhm.
it made me feel like this wasn't just a waste of time. Like it,
Yeah.
I don't know about you. You don't have to say whether this is true or not, but sometimes after a stream, as soon as I hit end, I'll just be like, I just I'm drained, bro. I have no energy right now. I used it all for streaming. Like,
Mhm.
man, I'm going to sleep like now. Or I'm like I want to just eat food, sit in silence, and just watch TV or whatever. Just kind of stop talking for like hours. Um, but yeah. So those moments where there's like a feeling of, I don't want to call it a reward because I don't feel like I've earned, or I don't like I don't want to treat them like they're just numbers because they're people, they're
Yeah.
real people interacting. But I think it's so amazing when I see all these people, you
Mhm.
know, talking, whether it's to me or to each other or just in general. It makes me very happy, and it makes me forget those times where I was like really down and kind of doubting myself about streaming. And it just makes me glad that I started streaming because of how many great people I've been able to meet and all these great experiences I've been able to have and all these friends I've been able to make.
Well said. Yes.
If I didn't start streaming, I would have never met you, Wilson,
Exactly.
because you were in my
Insane.
recommended, and I was like, I'll raid this guy. Yeah. And then I
I was
check your
gonna talk
followers.
about that after, but yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, let's save it till a little later. I got you, because we could talk more on that. Okay, so that's streaming. So not only is this question regarded to streaming, but what are your future aspirations and goals?
I want to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's goal number one for me. But that's like end game goal.
Yeah.
Right now, my goal is to get good grades in school and
Mm-hmm.
and learn how to do my job well, like my work well, like at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning that. I'm still learning the ropes. I'm definitely gonna mess some stuff up at the start, so I want to try to keep that to a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those are my goals at the moment. My end game goals in my career is to be a doctor, and I think it once, as scary as it is to think about, I think if I become a doctor, I might not be able to stream anymore. But we'll see when that happens. We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because who knows if I'll even have time to play video games on it.
True.
But
True.
once I become a doctor, I'll be 30 anyways, and who wants to watch some 30-year-old half Filipino, half Colombian dude struggling to play video games? When he's 22, it's not that sad, but when he's 30, man. But I don't know, man. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if that was a mean thing to say, but I didn't mean for it to be offensive. I just meant like I'm not gonna be interesting when I'm older because I won't. Me personally, I will be so busy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I probably won't be. I'm not good at video games now, and I will be worse in the future if I spend all my time studying.
Mm.
Anyway, moving on. I'm sorry if I offended anybody and if I accidentally said they were lame for being old. Um, those
All
are my
right.
main. For streaming,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't really have a goal per se. I just want to continue doing what I'm doing. I want I mean, I don't like follower goals. I don't like sub goals
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have follower goals. I don't want to like ask people to follow me, but also, guys, you should follow me. I don't want to ask people to follow me. I don't want to ask people to sub to me. And a big reason for that is probably also because of the fact that I'm so inconsistent with my schedule. Because I feel like I just kind of stream like randomly. Like I'll just be like, guys, I'm streaming today, and they're like, wait, what, huh? Yeah. Um, if I had a more consistent schedule, and if I probably treated this as my main job, I probably might consider being like, guys, we're doing a follower goal, we're doing a sub goal, we're doing a subathon, stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, my goal is really just to continue to entertain people, and hopefully entertain as many people as I can with my scuffed Valorant gameplay. Also, um, another mini goal,
Mm-hmm.
less of a goal, more of a wish. I want to eventually branch out in the games I play because I know, according to statistics, that most of my viewers pretty much just want watch Valorant. But maybe sometimes I don't want to play Valorant. Maybe I want to play TFT. Maybe I want to play League. Maybe I want to play some other game. Maybe I want to play Smash Brothers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, I told myself that I would probably start doing that more if you know if I started building more of a community because I want to play those games in like with people.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like run Smash tournaments, maybe do League customs, Valorant customs, do play Mario Party with people. I don't know anything. So I think once I start building a community a bit more, and obviously I'm grateful for the community that I have. I love every single person that comes into stream and watches. I don't. I really don't want to. I really hope I don't sound like I'm ungrateful for anybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think it would be more exciting for everybody if, once we start getting a little more people involved, we can run bigger community events, those kind of things. So those kind of things are going to be reserved probably for when if we start to, build a bit more bigger of a group. But, there are still things I still want to do with my current community. So those are some things I have to think about.
Yeah. Dope.
I don't know if
Pretty.
I worded that well, but I hope I did.
Ah, you did fine, man. So let's talk about. Well, if this is your thing, any future plans on traveling or ideas?
Mm. Yeah, actually, my friends and I have kind of been on a traveling binge lately. We don't go anywhere too far,
Mm-hmm.
and with like we don't go anywhere in an unsafe way, or at least we try not to. Like, if there's a place with high COVID numbers and stuff like that, obviously we're gonna be like, yeah, let's not go there. Let's go there when it dies down.
Yeah.
Um, so, but obviously sometimes maybe I didn't do my research well enough, but I tried to. Like Hawaii, nah. But Florida, nah, nah. LA, well, I live here,
Mm-hmm.
but LA still sucks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, we went to Seattle recently. I know
Nice.
my friends went to Vegas. I didn't go. Uh, I my next trip for traveling, I want to kind of go back to the East Coast.
Okay.
Like I want to go to New York. I have a friend who lives in New York, New Jersey-ish area. I kind of want to go visit her. I also have friends who live in Canada, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to go visit them too. Um, those are like goals that I could see myself doing soon
Yeah.
because they're a little more domestic. Not the Canada one. That one
Mm-hmm.
might be a little tougher. But East Coast, maybe go back to Seattle, maybe go to Oregon because I hear Portland's pretty cool. Um, maybe I'll just go to NorCal. Honestly, I haven't been to NorCal in a really long time, so maybe I'll just go there. But in further down the line, my dream visit spot is Japan. I want to see, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Um, I tried learning Japanese for a while. I still am trying, but I've learned nothing so far. I know how to count one, two, three, four, and six, not five. Uh,
Go for it.
uh, ichi, uh, ni, san, oh frick, what's four? I don't remember. Is six Roku? Is six
Yes.
Roku? Yeah, yeah. Wait, four. Oh, I don't remember
I don't
fully,
have
man.
the accent for it, but I think it's like she or something.
Probably. Oh, that sounds right. Yeah. And I also know like there's I know a word like there's a word that's like oh, but I don't remember what it means. It's either white, blue, or red, and I
Hmm.
should probably remember which one it is because Duolingo taught me. But I should probably find a better place to learn than Duolingo.
Yeah.
Uh, I want
Cool.
to go to Japan. I want to go to Europe. I actually my family went to Europe when I was a bit younger. When I was like 12, uh, or 11, 10 to 12, somewhere around there. I was in Europe.
Yeah.
I really want to go back because I think when I went, I wasn't able to appreciate it
Hmm.
as much because I was just like, it's cold. I want to go home and sit down, do nothing. Like, I just want to eat food because we had to walk everywhere. I got bored and tired. I literally was on the Eiffel Tower and I was just like, can we go back down? Because I was scared of heights. Meanwhile, or on the other hand, recently I went to Seattle and I went to the Space Needle and I didn't want to go back down because I was like, this is so cool because I'm older and I can appreciate these things now. So I really want to
Yes.
go back to Europe. I want to go, and also while I'm in Europe, I want to go to Spain because I've never been to Spain. I want to go to Japan. I want to go back to the Philippines, but I want to go to like the a little bit more of a commercial area
Hmm.
because as much as I love the area where my mom grew up, I don't want to go there every single time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to go to the nicer spots, because she grew up in a bit of a rural,
Hmm.
like a neighborhood, dirt road kind of thing. So I'll go there, but I want to go to the main parts too. I haven't seen the pretty parts of the Philippines. Uh,
Gotcha.
and I also want to go to Colombia. So the places I'm from, basically,
Hmm.
are the places, yeah.
Very nice. Very descriptive. I'm glad you got this. Make time for it before you become a doctor.
Yeah, if there was ever a time to do it, it's definitely between now and like 5 years,
Hmm.
I think. But little tangent. My parents, they decided that they didn't want to like really travel anywhere too exciting, or they didn't want to not travel with their family. They wanted to be able to travel with the kids. So that's why my family has been able, or me and my siblings have been able to go on so many trips because my parents made it their mission or their goal to make sure that we were included on their trips.
Yeah.
So part of me also thinks that might be kind of a cool thing to be able to bring my kids on trips. Not when they're like babies because they won't even care. Um, I might not, I'm not gonna take my baby to Europe because like why would they want to be there, right? But maybe when they're a bit older, I'll start kind of
Hmm.
bringing them places. But in the meantime, I'll probably hit up uh, some less beautiful places and some more exciting and fun places to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of live my 20s life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha. Nice. I guess now we can move on to other social media aspects. I know you have an IG and Twitter. I I did some digging. It doesn't seem like you use it much or you're fairly new to it, but how's your social media game overall?
Look, man, I know social media is part of the game, right? Like I know that it's how you market yourself. It's how you advertise yourself to people, especially TikTok. That's just um, yeah. I don't know if you checked out my TikTok, but I actually post on there quite
I did.
like
Mhm.
every now and then I post. But I don't post anything advertising my stream. I just post videos I think are funny
Yeah.
because I want to be funny. Um, but yeah, even in my personal life, I don't post a lot on social media. I just kind of lurk. I'm like the Instagram equivalent to a Twitch chat lurker. Like I'll just kind of be there, I'll like a few posts here and there, and then I just dip. Like I don't say anything.
Mhm.
I don't post anything. I don't comment anything. I just kind of scroll through. It's just a way for me to update myself on life and like it's a way for me to keep up on sports. Like, I don't know. When I first started streaming, I was kind of active on social media. Like, I was posting on my story. I was like, guys, I'm streaming. Like,
Yeah.
come say hi. But recently, I've just been so caught up in like doing some other stuff that I just haven't had time to necessarily post because I don't even know when I'm gonna stream. Sometimes, like that can sometimes be a same day decision for me, and it very often is a same day decision. Like I don't like, oh, I don't have anything to do today. Yeah, I'll stream.
Hmm.
Which is probably going to be the case maybe like this weekend because I don't have work. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't really post a lot on social media, um, and the reason for that is probably just because I've just never been that guy. Like I don't I don't feel like I have many things worthy of being posted. I I only post important things, or I post things that I think are actually of value. Like on my on my personal Instagram, I I post maybe once or twice a year, uh, and it's usually either me just kind of posting like, "Hey, I went on a trip." That's it. But I don't have like photo shoots of me or anything. I don't I don't do that. I don't do that kind of. I will try my best to get more into it and post more and interact more on social media. Um, but for that to happen, like I just gotta kind of set my mind to it. Honestly, I gotta make some more time for it. That's the big part.
Yeah. Do you, man? Just asking. No judgment whatsoever.
Now I feel you judging me over there.
No. I'm not judging. Alright. Cool. So let's get into random questions. Well, before we get into like the quick hitters, what I like to call quick hitters. How did you come up with your name for
Oh,
Twitch? And
uh,
then transition to the Discord name.
okay, cool, for sure. So the name, it started as just like Andross, and how I came up with that name, I don't remember exactly when I came up with it or
Mm-hmm.
what I first used it on necessarily, because I've had a few other usernames in the past. My first username that I used for everything was, or the one that I made myself technically, was Shadow Mario Boy, which is based on Super Mario Sunshine because there's a character named Shadow Mario, and I just added boy at the end. So I was like, that's me. I'm Shadow Mario Boy. And then I became then my username was Parinthius, and that's Parynthias. Kind of sounds weird, almost like a Greek philosopher or something. But literally, the way I came up with that was just I was watching a video of a Let's Player playing Pokemon Crystal, and I definitely misheard something he said. He was talking about like some trainer and how they have weird names, and he was like, maybe they should have a name like blah, blah, blah. And he said something that definitely wasn't Parinthius, but to me it sounded like Parinthius. And I didn't re-listen to it. I just heard it and I was like, that's a great name. So I started using that for everything. Uh, those are my past usernames. My current username, which is ItsAndross, started as just Andross with like 4 S's or whatever, and I came up with that because it's just a mix of my name and my dad's name, um, Andrew, Oscar, Andross. Yeah. Um, so that's pretty much how that came to be. The reason that the Discord is named the Andross Armada,
Mm-hmm.
that goes a little deeper because Andross is also a character from Star Fox. Um, and it's also an assist trophy in Smash Brothers. I don't know if you have ever seen it, but it's that big face in the background that shoots out like squares. If you've ever seen that one, it's really weird and gross looking. But in the video games of Star Fox, he's like a monkey. He's like this old monkey scientist doctor or whatever who's like the bad guy of the Star Fox games. He's like the main bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he has this crew called, I think they're called like the Space Armada or the Andross Armada. I don't
Yeah.
think they're actually called the Andros Armada. I think they're called the Space Armada. But I was like, that's a cool name, Andros Armada. That's
Hmm.
cool. It started as the Andros Army. Then I was like, that's too generic. That a million people have the name Army for their freaking whatevers. Then I ran a vote in my chat because I came up with the idea of Armada. And I was like, do you guys want to be the Armada instead? And they were like, yeah. And then two people said no, and I was like, I don't listen to you guys. So then they ended up becoming the Armada.
For sure.
Yeah. Uh, that's also why if you like, if you look at that bad boy right there, the little monkey next to my icon, that's why there's a monkey right there, because Andros in Star Fox is a monkey. So I was like, I want to have a monkey in my things because monkeys are cool, and it's also a Star Fox reference. So
Yeah.
that's why my channel is themed after monkeys because of Star Fox. So
Nice
yeah.
background. Speaking of that, the overlay with the monkey. Who is Noodle Girl 101 and how to you come in contact to have your, you know, your display on your about section.
You say the question is who is Noodle Girl 101?
Well,
Right?
like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a friend that got you the emotes and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Why are you smiling so much?
I don't know, man. It's funny because that's the streamer friend I was talking about earlier. The one
Which
that
one?
the 4.5k followers one, the one that rated me with like 40 viewers.
Oh.
That was her.
Wow, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So,
So she
uh,
made your stuff?
she made my emote.
Yeah.
She didn't make my overlay or my overlays or my panels or my screens. She didn't make those. She made the emote, the salute
Mm-hmm.
emote. Yeah. I've talked to her a couple times. It took her a while to make the emote, so I asked her. I was like, if I had someone else make stuff for me, like art wise, would you be upset? And she was like, no, because I take forever to make it. So,
Uh,
um, how we met though is we just had, well, okay, bit of back. Well, she had a popular meme. She posted something on Twitter, and it became a really popular meme on like those really basic meme pages, like
yeah.
um and the picture she posted was a conversation between her and her friend where the friend was like, can you take a picture that looks like I took it because my mom thinks I'm out with you. So she took a picture of herself like looking away from the camera mid eating, like she stood her phone up on something to like take a good picture of herself, and that just blew up on Twitter. It blew up on Instagram, like all those meme areas.
Mm-hmm.
So and one page I followed posted it, and they tagged her in it. So I was like, I'll follow her. She seems pretty cool, pretty funny. Um, then we ended up being in the same psychology class at my college. Um, so yeah, and then I like told her about it. I DM'd her. I was like, "Hey, did you know we're in the same psych class?" And she said, "We are? That's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah." And then she ended up like never showing up to the class. Not to expose. Sorry, Trina, if you end up watching this, but she never showed up to class.
Uh-huh.
I always ended up signing the sign-in sheet for her, so
Yeah.
the teacher thought she was there. And then like the one time she was there, I wasn't there, so I told her to sign me in. Yeah, that's how we met. And then she used to stream League back in the day. We would play League sometimes. I think I've been following her for like, I think last time I checked it was like 18 months, so that's around the time uh her and I started to become, we're like acquaintances.
Yeah.
Then we became like friends when I introduced her to my girlfriend.
At the time, yeah.
Because yeah, then then they got really close, and by proxy, her and I became closer because I was close with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the three of us became friends.
Gotcha. More background story. Sick.
Yeah,
All right. Just for the audience to know, if you guys have any questions for Andy, feel free to ask them. I'm gonna get into the last few random questions.
for sure.
All right. You mentioned that you like boba. What's your favorite drink and store?
My favorite go-to drink at any store would be a green apple slush with boba, which is not really a boba drink common,
Oh, a
but
slush.
I
Okay.
love green apple flavored anything.
Mm-hmm.
So green apple slushes are my war. But I've also recently gotten into there's like a brown sugar boba drink that I get from Gongcha, I think.
Gotcha.
I think that's what it's called. Something from there, but Gongcha is really good. Boba time's really good. Share tea is probably my go-to just because it feels like the safest bet
Mm-hmm.
to try a new drink.
For sure. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. What is considered as one of your biggest pet peeves?
People who are rude to 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 anyone who's in like the service industry. Like if I see someone being rude to a waiter,
Mm-hmm.
I get pretty upset because I'm like, that waiter didn't do anything. That's like maybe sometimes the waiter messes up, but the waiter is probably like struggling. So I give them the benefit of the doubt, especially after I started working jobs. I was like, I don't want to be mean to anyone who's here to help me. So if you, and that also includes tipping poorly for no reason. If someone's a bad service person, you can tip poorly. I don't care. But if you tip really poor, like less than 10%, that's bad. I've seen people who don't tip, and that pisses me off. That makes me very mad because
Gotcha.
I know that people in food industry don't get paid very well necessarily. So I'm like, dude, you know they live on tips, right? So that's one pet peeve. Um,
Hmm.
people, yeah, that's like the main one I could think of. It kind of takes a lot to annoy me, honestly, or like to make me upset. I'm usually the person who kind of tries to keep things calm. Like other people will get upset about something, and I'll try to calm them down.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, like biggest like personal pet peeve, like if I'm interacting with something they do that would annoy me,
Yeah.
would probably be not paying attention or seeming like you're paying attention to something else or you're like half there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm having a conversation with you, you better be fully in the conversation. I don't want you looking out like over there. If you're like to just look for something more interesting, that's annoying.
Okay.
So yeah, that's I guess that.
Gotcha. Cool. What would you consider as your biggest accomplishment and your biggest failure slash regret?
Feels like a job interview. Lucky.
I
My
mean,
biggest accomplishment.
you were here yesterday. I told you these
I
questions are
know.
coming.
I know. What would you say is one of your biggest weaknesses? Biggest accomplishment. Uh, hmm, I don't applaud myself very often. This is tough. Honestly, my biggest accomplishment probably hitting 100 followers. I'm really happy about that. I I never thought that it.
Respect.
I thought I guess part of me thought I would hit there eventually, but I never thought it would happen this fast. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
very thankful for all the people that were involved, all the people that tried to help me out, all the people that followed, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I say this at the end of every stream, so if anyone's here from my stream, you're probably getting annoyed of hearing stuff like this. But I do very much appreciate everyone that stops into the chat and just says hi. And the fact that I'm able to stream uh, for even, you know, like 2, 3 people average, even if it's just two or three, as long as they're, there and they're entertained, that makes me very happy. Um, so that might not be my biggest accomplishment, but it's definitely one of the bigger ones that I can recently remember.
Yeah.
Um,
That's cool.
Biggest accomplishment would probably be something along the lines of like, yeah, I don't even know. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of my big accomplishments are hopefully ahead of me.
Yeah.
Because yeah. And then the other one was you said regret, right?
Regret or failure?
Regret or failure? I mean, I tried. I mean, not to sound too much like KR yesterday, but I try not to regret too many things. Um, I've definitely had. I mean, yeah, that's tough.
I mean, it's a fair answer, and I must say that most of the guests say that. So if you also fall under that, then that's perfectly fine.
Nah, bro, I'm different. I'm gonna come up with an answer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here I go. My biggest regret, not, mm, not being able to learn how to love myself sooner.
Okay.
That's one thing. Because I feel like I've hit a point where I'm pretty happy with myself. Not only happy with myself, but I'm also very a little more confident in myself than I used to be. I used to have a lot of insecurities. So now that I feel a little better about myself, I feel like it's made my life a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not just in like social, whatever, personal, also in work. It makes me like it helps me succeed a lot more. Um, you know, so that's one of the regrets, just not being able to do all that stuff sooner. I guess into that same category of not doing things sooner would also be not streaming sooner, because I love streaming. I don't think I would be able to stream a lot if I streamed a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I definitely think meeting all these people and knowing them sooner would have been really nice. To like have all these friends come in to my life a bit sooner. And I guess my last biggest regret would be honestly just there, because there's a I feel like there's a big difference between a regret and just knowing you made a mistake, right? Like if you regret something, it's like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. But there are times where I know I did something wrong or something that happened to me kind of sucked. But
Mm-hmm.
also at the time, I think to myself, I think it's probably a good thing that I went through that. Like all my past relationships that I talked to you about, that I talked to
Yeah.
everybody about
Learning
here,
lessons. Yeah.
yeah, it's how I've learned. I feel like, you know, this might not be a great way to look at it, depending on your own personal mindset, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that each of my relationships have made me be a little bit better and hopefully will get me a little bit closer to making the next one perfect.
Yeah.
So hopefully at some point I will hit that relationship that just is perfect, hopefully. Um, not perfect in every aspect, but as perfect as it can be. So I guess to call it to try and turn it into a regret, it would probably be, yeah, actually I don't know how to rephrase that one into a regret. It's just more so like I know my past relationships have maybe been mistakes. Some of them have been mistakes, but all of them were important.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't regret. I don't regret any of my past relationships. I don't regret most of the things I've done because I think they've all kind of led me to where I am today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Down to the last three questions. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot. Now we get to the part. What was your first impression of me? And you could now talk about that story.
So for those that don't know, I found Wilson on my recommended as I was ending a stream because I was looking for someone to raid. Because, uh, yeah, let's go, Wilson. Give it up for Wilson, everybody. Let's go.
Recommended page.
Yeah, let's go. Give it up, best streamer.
Uh.
Uh, so I was looking for somebody to raid because my usual crew of people who stream, they weren't streaming because it was like what 1 a.m. or something. I don't know. Maybe it was like 12. Uh, yeah, I found you, and I was just I was browsing through a couple people. I found a couple people before found you, but I was
Mhm.
like, they don't, whatever. Then I found you, and my first impression was along the lines of, this guy seems cool, which is a very basic answer, but that was honestly my first real impression of you. Like, you seem cool,
Mhm.
and I liked that you were interacting with chat because some people don't do that, which is really dumb because they're there to watch you. So like, talk to them, bro. Like, I get it if you're a bigger streamer, but you're not. No, is anyone here big enough to ignore their chat? No.
Mhm.
So I just thought you were cool, and you know, it seemed like you weren't. This might sound weird, and I promise I mean it in the best way. It didn't seem like you were trying too hard to like be somebody that you are not.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like you were really putting your real self out there,
Mm-hmm.
and you weren't like me. I sometimes amplify certain attributes about myself. You were, it felt like you weren't exaggerating anything. You were just, that's just how you are. You were just very real, very cool, very, and a very, very kind person. Like when I think after I rated you with like 2 viewers, you sounded like really grateful, and I'm like, wow, this guy's cool. And then I like scroll down, and I'm like, wait, this guy's like more popular than me. And he's like grateful that I'm rating him with like one person. Like it was just me and Lexi at that point, I'm pretty sure. And you were like, oh man, thanks for the raid, I appreciate it. And I was like, you do? Are you sure? Like we're just, it's just me and my homie. But I think from that moment I was like, nah, this guy knows, what's up. So to answer your question, my first impression of you was you're cool, genuine, and just a very real, kind person.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I remember the day. For sure. I was also playing on Breeze. So, you
Were
know.
on. I remember that too. You were on
Yeah.
Breeze, and then One Hole Tickler was there, and I was like,
Yeah, that name.
yeah,
Facts. And that's how I met you and Lexi.
yeah.
Do you remember the conversation we had
Nope. Wait. No. Wait.
about you and Lexi?
Oh, you were asking if we like knew each other IRL or something, and I was like, yeah, we've been best friends since for like 10 years.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
were like, oh, cool. And then Lexi was like, nah, dude, I'm in New Jersey. What the? Or yeah, I'm like, we're besties, Lexi. You can't escape it.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. All right, yeah. That
I think that's what
basically.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually kept up with the story, but now I can confirm that you were kind of trolling.
Well, yeah, because I told you how we met, so obviously we were not best friends.
Yeah. It's all good.
I
It's all
kind of
good.
debunked myself on that one.
Yep, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's funny. Appreciate it. Okay, last 2 questions. I remember screaming Cali Gang all that day. Yeah. Aside from Valkyrie, who are the top 5 streamers that you watch?
What do you mean aside from Valkyrie, man?
Because yesterday you said Valkyrie top 5.
I don't want to pick anyone but Valkyrie.
I mean, you don't have to. That could be your answer. I'll take it.
Okay, top 5.
No particular order.
No particular order?
Yeah.
Okay, well, people are going to be upset. People might be upset because I leave them out, so don't...
No.
That's tough. Top 5. This guy's Toast is probably up there.
Okay.
Just for mainly sentimental reasons, and I think he's really cracked at most video games. I don't know if he counts as a streamer because I think he started as a YouTuber, but Michael Reeves is freaking hilarious. I love that guy. Who else is there? Top 5. Let me just check my Twitch and see who I follow. Who's streaming, so I can see who's my favorite.
That you like tune in to watch, yeah.
And it's tough now because I haven't been able to watch many people's streams lately. I haven't even been able to pop into your streams, Wilson, and that makes me very sad.
Dude, it's okay. Like, that's why I asked this type of question. Like, it's not supposed to be easy, right? But if you have an answer, that's your answer. You're busy. You're busy.
Can I add you as an honorable mention?
No.
Okay.
Because that's cap.
Well, then I guess you're top 5. Top 5 streamer. God, this is... I've only come up with like 2, right? Dude, I've only come up...
Yeah. 2.
I know one of... Yeah, I know Lexi's top streamer. It's Saikuno.
Ah.
She's
okay.
She's a Saikuno fan. Huh. Bro, I'm struggling. Who are my top 5?
Hey, if you can't think of anything, it's fine. Just That's it. That's it. We can leave it as Michael
No,
Reeves and Toast and not
can
Valkyrie.
I include Valkyrie?
Okay, if it makes it easier for you, sure. Go ahead.
It does,
Okay,
cause
yeah.
she's my favorite. She's my wife. Uh, huh. Okay. Disguise Toast.
Mhm.
Michael Reeves. Valkyrie. Um, Tobias Fate is really funny. He's made me laugh on many occasions. Um, these are all like League and Valorant streamers, honestly, or just yeah. But I guess that's what kind of community I've created anyway, so it works out.
I mean, yeah, that's who you watch. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll include those guys that got me into streaming, the wrestling game streamers, because they still stream even after like all these years. Their name on Twitch is New Legacy Inc., like Incorporated. Uh, I love those guys. It's like a group of guys who just play. They used to play a lot of wrestling video games, but wrestling video games kind of suck nowadays. So
I see. I see.
they kind of branched out and started playing whatever games they really felt like. And every time I watch their highlights on YouTube, it makes me laugh a
Mhm.
lot. So I guess those are my top five. Oh no! Let me starting over. Totally new list. Okay. Number one's Valkyrie, but she's an honorable mention. Let's make her an honorable mention. Number
Okay.
one favorite streamer at the moment, Masayoshi. Love that guy.
Got
He
it.
is funny and cracked as hell. Number two, Quarter Jade. Actually, they're both tied for number one. Quarter Jade and Masayoshi.
Mhm.
So we'll call them one and two in no particular order.
Yeah.
Um, Number three, my who? Michael Reeves.
Okay.
Number four, Disguised Toast. Actually, number three, Disguised Toast. Number four, Michael Reeves. Number five, um, New Legacy Inc. The wrestling guys.
Got it.
But yeah, Masayoshi is hysterical. I love that guy.
There you go. You were able to name 5. You're good.
Yeah, and it only took me what, 30 minutes, right? 30?
No,
What's it?
like 7. Not bad.
30 minutes.
All right. Last question. Keep in mind, this is using your personal connection. Who would you like to see on this podcast as a future guest?
That's a good question. You're basically asking me who do I want to find out more about.
Yeah, in a way, you could think that.
Interesting. I will say probably if she's up for it, which hopefully she will be if I talk to her about it.
Mm-hmm.
Noodle Girl 101, Trina.
Oh,
She
okay.
I would love to get to know more about her. Even though we've technically known each other for years,
Mm-hmm.
I don't technically know a lot about her.
Yes.
But I think she's a great person. She's sweet. She's kind. You know, all the qualities that make a good streamer. I think. She's semi decently cracked at Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
She's more cracked than I am, but not as cracked as like other people I know. If not Noodle Girl 101, can I give a second mention?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. If not Noodle Girl 101. Actually, do I even have a second mention? Do I? Maybe I don't have a second mention. Maybe I just have the one mention. But yeah, I would love to have Noodle Girl be on this stream. Trina's a cool person.
Mm-hmm.
If not her, then probably my Sophie XL. So it's like Sophie XEL. She's also really cool, really sweet, really funny. She's also a very good friend of mine.
Gotcha.
She's yeah. I love her. She's great. Either one of those two, I think, would be great to have on the stream.
Okay, so yeah, I'll probably hit you up in the future if anything, and then you could
Lexi's
try
got
to
it.
get the connection.
Yeah, for sure. If you ever need to contact them, just let me know, and
Mm-hmm.
they will probably respond to me in about 2 to 3 business days.
Uh, okay, that's still something.
Yeah.
All right, I guess this basically wraps things up. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of this Chang Gang podcast, episode 9. Thank you for being a wonderful guest, Andy. I
No,
really appreciate it.
no, thanks for having me, bro. This was very fun. This was fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
So to check the time, 3 hours and 34 minutes. Told you it could get over 3 hours, and yeah, it did. This is awesome.
Damn, how you gonna just let me rant for 3 hours about myself, Wilson? How you gonna let me do that?
This is what the podcast is about, to get to know people on a deeper level. Crazy thing is to consider is that we've never spoken before this.
Correct.
Yeah, for everyone to know. Like we would go through each other's chat just to say what's up, but this is the actual first time we've spoken, and it doesn't feel that way. It really doesn't. There's something about it, at least to me.
Nah, I feel like I've known you for like at least a few months, which is actually true, but I feel like I've been
Probably.
talking to you for at least a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna close out the portion for the YouTube segment. But yeah, this wraps things up. So thank you once again, guys. Make sure to drop him a follow. You could check out his link by going to !guest. And if you guys are curious to know what this podcast is about in general, there is the !podcast command. Again, this will be on my YouTube page within the next few days. So if you guys are also curious to know what I do on YouTube, feel free to check it out. I'd really appreciate that. Drop Andy a follow on Instagram as well. You can see it on the bottom right. Join the Andross Armada through Discord, which is linked through your page. So, any last words you want to say to everyone before I close out the YouTube portion?
No.
Great. That was.
No, wait. No. Let me. Thank you guys for listening and watching. If you got this far, thank you. I love and appreciate all of you. You guys are obviously great people because you know Wilson, and Wilson's a great guy. So, thanks for hanging out. I love all of you, and I hope to see you guys again soon.
Thank you guys. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. YouTube gang.